with Su Jie resolving the internal conflicts of Ghost Ridge Palace. The development in Qingzhou faced no more obstacles, and Su Jie's various capitalist measures could be swiftly implemented. 3 months later, at the Baidu River mouth of the Firefly Sea, several cultivators dressed in attire completely different from the Ghost Ridge Palace disciples arrived. They wore jade at their waists, simple hair crowns, and long robes embroidered with the pattern of 2 crossed golden flying swords. These were cultivators from the Golden Sword sect of Qingzhou, and they were the first batch of exchange students from the Golden Sword sect to enter Ghost Ridge Palace. There were 5 disciples from the Golden Sword sect in total, with the highest adept being an inner disciple at the Yunling Realm's 7th level, named Su Chong, who was 25 years old. To reach this realm at such an age was considered quite promising. The other 4 were all without exception disciples below the 5th level of the Yunling Realm. Although Ghost Ridge Palace forced Qingzhou's righteous sects to send disciples for exchange learning, the Golden Sword sect obviously didn't want to send their own genius disciples, unsure of how they would be tortured and humiliated by the Ghost Ridge Palace. Therefore, the Golden Sword sect specially organized a draw, pulling out a few from the outer disciples to fool Ghost Ridge Palace. As for why Su Chong, an inner disciple, was also drawn, it was because the Golden Sword sect feared they would offend Ghost Ridge Palace by being too perfunctory, and they had to at least offer up an inner disciple to show some gesture. This way, if Ghost Ridge Palace held them accountable, they could at least argue that they had sent a genius inner disciple for further study and exchange. Su Chong was just such an unlucky person. In the draw among inner disciples, he was picked for the opportunity to travel for exchange study. Amidst the ridicule of his fellow senior brothers and sisters, he had to put on a wronged face, pack his bags, and embark on a long and laborious journey to Ghost Ridge Palace for advanced study. Yes, to Su Chong and the other disciples coming for exchange and further study, going to Ghost Ridge Palace was considered exceptionally unlucky. Everyone knew that Ghost Ridge Palace was the largest demon cave in Qingzhou, ruthless, bloodthirsty, and notoriously brutal, often killing people to feed insects. Here in Qingzhou, Ghost Ridge Palace never had a good reputation. They didn't know what kind of cruel targeted treatment they would face after arriving here to live. Senior brother, ahead is the Firefly Sea. Arriving at the Firefly Sea, the main base of Ghost Ridge Palace, several outer disciples from the Golden Sword sect were full of trepidation as they watched the Ghost Ridge Palace cultivators shuttling around the ferry dock, too frightened to step forward. "Wait here. I'll go ask someone." Su Chong took a deep breath. Although he was also quite nervous, being outside plus his status as an inner disciple, he had to support his junior brothers and sisters from the sect. He was not demon enough to send his juniors to test the waters first. "Senior brother, be careful." Under the gaze of several young cultivators, Su Chong walked to the ferry dock at the Firefly Sea. On the dock, the large characters Firefly Sea No. 2 dock were visible, and there were several such docks. Firefly Sea was the largest lake in Qingzhou, ranking among the top 3 in the Dili dynasty, with a length of 736 kilometers, an average width of 68 kilometers, and an average depth of 430 meters, larger than Blue Star's Lake Baikal. Although it was a lake, one couldn't see the opposite shore. In the center of the lake was Lake Heart Island, the main base of Ghost Ridge Palace. To reach Lake Heart Island at the center, one had to take a ferry and travel by boat. When Su Chong arrived here, he found it extraordinarily bustling. Besides Ghost Ridge Palace disciples, there were also numerous merchants, and even commoners carrying poles selling fruits, vegetables, and poultry. The shops lined both sides of the dock, one after another, completely betraying the fact that just a few months ago, it had experienced a major battle. Why are there so many common folk here? Aren't they afraid the Ghost Ridge Palace cultivators will seize them to feed insects? Su Chong was utterly baffled. He had visited Guanchao Pavilion before, but that was when he accompanied his sect seniors for discussions and friendships with the younger generation of Guanchao Pavilion. The docks and piers back then weren't this lively. At Guanchao Pavilion, besides their own cultivators, strict prohibitions were in place. Letting ordinary people come to do business or open shops was unheard of. Even those not from their own sect would be driven away. But what Su Chong couldn't figure out was how these commoners dared to carry on business right at the doorstep of Ghost Ridge Palace. Filled with bewilderment, Su Chong didn't ponder too deeply, and instead found some Ghost Ridge Palace disciples who were standing duty there. You! As Su Chong started to speak, a few Ghost Ridge Palace cultivators glanced at each other, and their leading disciple stepped forward. By your attire, you're a disciple from the Golden Sword sect here for exchange study? Yes, that's correct. Su Chong was surprised that the other party directly understood his background, saving him the trouble of explaining. Follow me, we are here specifically to receive people like you. My name is Zhang Xian. Haha, don't be too nervous, I don't eat people. In the past few days, I've already received several batches of disciples like you from righteous sections. The Ghost Ridge Palace disciple revealed a smile, seemingly having noticed Su Chang's confusion and offered an explanation directly. He was about 30 years old. His young age paired with a grown-out stubble beard made him appear older and more mature. Seeing the purple mantis poisonous insect resting on Zhang Xian's shoulder, Su Chong hesitated and nodded. Sorry to trouble you. Then Su Chong turned around, waved towards his 4 junior brothers and sisters, signaling them to quickly come over and gather. Once everyone had arrived, Zhang Xian led them through the bustling and lively dock commercial street to the spot where they would board the boat. Here, Su Chong and the others witnessed an unexpected scene. More than a dozen large and small vessels were docked. In addition to the common wooden ships, there were also several enormous steel ships gleaming with a pure iron luster. At the edge of the dock, there were massive steel frames, towering tens of meters high, hoisting iron boxes and stowing them onto those gigantic steel vessels. This repetitive loading process allowed these steel ships to carry far more cargo than ordinary wooden boats. Su Chang's mouth was wide open in astonishment. He had never seen such enormous ships. Although he had seen flying magical boats before, those were collections of various rare spiritual materials rather than pure iron. He couldn't figure out how these things managed to float on the sea. What enormous iron ships! Are there formations inscribed inside these steel ships? Otherwise, how could they float on water? Where did the Ghost Ridge Palace acquire these? Guanchao Pavilion didn't have these big iron ships before. The accompanying Golden Sword sect disciples were equally wide-eyed, struggling to comprehend where the Ghost Ridge Palace had procured such things. Ha! This is the masterpiece of our sect's puppet hall, the largest hall within our sect. They've created many magical puppet machines, and these steel ships are one of them, powered by new fuel instead of spirit stones and formations. You'll understand once you've lived here for a while. Zhang Xian, beside them, grinned broadly, seemingly anticipating Su Chong and the others' reaction. In recent days, he had witnessed similar reactions numerous times. Every group of righteous disciples coming to Ghost Ridge Palace for training was stunned at this dock. It's not really impressive, just larger and able to carry more cargo without formation defenses. It's nothing more than a huge target. A few flying swords could sink it. Seeing Zhang Xian's smile, Su Chong assumed that Zhang Xian was mocking his ignorance, and couldn't resist retorting, while also tugging at the sleeves of his junior brothers and sisters, urging them to maintain their composure and not lose the grace of Golden Sword sect, a righteous sect, in the eyes of Ghost Ridge Palace disciples. Zhang Xian did not argue with them, shrugging his shoulders and saying, "Follow me aboard the ship. We can reach Lake Heart Island before sunset if we set sail now." The group boarded one of the giant steel vessels, a mixed cargo and passenger ship, holding not only a large amount of cargo but also numerous merchants. Once Zhang Xian boarded, his apparent repute became evident as a group of merchants surrounded him, exchanging pleasantries with smiles. "Manager Fu, the Chun Mansion has shipped a lot of spiritual material this time. Looks like they'll make a big profit." "Oh, not at all. Ghost Ridge Palace is in need of everything after the war. As part of Qingzhou, we must lend some support. Profit is secondary. Brother Zhang, my family just opened a new tavern at the dock and hired 2 beautiful Western maidens. When it opens, Brother Zhang must honor us with your presence, and I'll have them provide you with some proper relaxation." Definitely, so you're looking to enter the procurement system with your golden cicada silk. I see. You're well informed. The news about our sect's new uniform just announced 2 days ago and you've already come running. All right then, I'll mention it to my master. Whether you get in is not up to me. Zhang Xian adeptly socialized with the merchants. Su Chong discreetly observed, noticing the merchants weren't just ordinary traders, but also representatives of noble families from across Qingzhou. They wore emblems signifying their families and transported not just regular goods, but various common spiritual materials, spiritual mines, spirit plants, and spiritual beasts. Noble families differ from sects. They can be viewed as small sects bound by bloodlines. Most established noble families foster their descendants in cultivation. Those with lesser talents are sent to sects to apprentice. These noble families, deeply rooted locally with broad connections, control several common cultivation resource sites and actively establish trade convoys, facilitating transactions and earning wealth. In the past, Ghost Ridge Palace's black market was essentially trafficked by these noble family convoys, engaging in dealings, including human slave trade, with daring intentions. No integrity or morality, utterly corrupt, terribly corrupt. Su Chong heard these exchanges and couldn't help but criticize internally. These noble families, previously sneaky with their black market dealings, now openly conducted business with Ghost Ridge Palace since it became Qingzhou's overlord, unafraid of its demon sect status. However, Su Chong only dared ponder this quietly, naturally unable to voice it. For, technically speaking, the Golden Sword sect to which they belonged was also one of the forces that had pledged allegiance to Ghost Ridge Palace, giving him no standing to criticize excessively. At sunset, the sky had gradually darkened, and the sun's radiance was slowly receding beyond the horizon. As the steel ship slowly docked, Su Chong and the others finally successfully set foot on Lake Heart Island in the middle of the Firefly Sea, which is also the true base of the Ghost Ridge Palace. Upon disembarking, Su Chong did not see the human skin lanterns, piles of bones, swarms of poisonous insects, or corpse oil lamps illuminating the demon cave that he had imagined. What he saw instead was a bustling cityscape. Exquisite palace houses, pavilions, temples, and pagodas were distributed in a scattered yet orderly fashion, and along the streets, many merchants were setting up stalls and shouting for business, with numerous Ghost Ridge Palace disciples bustling around, the sounds of bargaining rising and falling. The goods being sold ranged from the most common household items to various elixirs, talismans, and magic artifacts. Poisonous insects were the most common items for sale here, and the entire city was full of life and order, even more lively than the docks outside. Don't get lost, follow me. Zhang Xian bid farewell to the traveling merchants on the ship and then led Su Chong and the others through the bustling city. Why aren't these people afraid of your Ghost Ridge Palace? Zhang Xian couldn't help but ask. Whether it was the scene they saw at the dock outside the Firefly Sea or the scene on Lake Heart Island, it all challenged his perception. How could demon cultivators mix so freely with ordinary people? Because Su Sect Master has given strict orders to conduct open trade and welcome merchants from all over the world to trade. Merchants who come here are not to be forced to buy or sell by sect disciples, nor are they allowed to use magic or spiritual power indiscriminately. If found or reported, the consequences are. Zhang Xian shook his head, seemingly thinking of something cruel. Demon cultivators are not always honest, especially when doing business with ordinary people, where little tricks are all too common. Yet, the Ghost Ridge Palace's trade has been getting more and more prosperous, and they haven't harmed any merchants or civilians. The implications of this are self-evident. Without sufficiently strict measures, those eccentric demon cultivator disciples wouldn't be so compliant. Su Chong nodded thoughtfully. He had naturally heard of Su Jie's name. However, most of Su Jie's reputation was tied to words like cruel, heartless, inhuman, and evil. Now, hearing about Su Jie from Zhang Xian gave Su Chong a slightly new perspective. By now, the sky had gradually darkened, and Su Chong and the others were walking when suddenly there was a bright light above, and the surroundings became as bright as day. They thought someone was using magic and were startled. Su Chong instinctively looked at Zhang Xian, who had just said no one would disturb the trade here. Wasn't this contrary to his words? But soon Su Chong realized he was mistaken, because enlightening the darkness was not a cultivator using magic, but bright lights lighting up at the tops of iron frames on both sides of the road, and the shops along the street also lit up with soft lights, illuminating the dark environment, and some lights were even colorful. What on earth? Su Chong was puzzled and exclaimed, "Your Ghost Ridge Palace is so wealthy, using so many magic artifacts to replace oil lamps and lanterns for lighting? Do you have too much money and nowhere to spend it?" Zhang Exine laughed heartily, saying, "What magic artifacts? Those are a type of lamp produced by the puppet hall. I don't know the principle of how they light up, but you just need to connect them to electricity. Speaking of which, the puppet hall is still promoting these lamps, expanding power stations across Qingzhou. It said that soon there will be no night in Qingzhou. If you came down the mountain a few months later, you could see them in many cities." Su Chong carefully sensed and indeed didn't feel the fluctuations typical of magic artifacts. He blushed with embarrassment, feeling like a country bumpkin entering the city, regretting overreacting, and making a fool of himself. The rest of the journey was without incident. Zhang Exine led the Golden Sword sect disciples into an ancient-style palace. Stepping onto the white jade steps and pushing open the 3-zhang-tall, heavy door made of star magnetic bronze. Inside was a spacious martial arts arena. Nearby were courtyards with places for cultivation and meditation, connected to the underground spirit vein, with much richer spiritual energy. Here was also brightly lit. Although it was nighttime, many cultivators were still present. Su Chong spotted female disciples from the Miao Yin Temple with graceful figures, dragon and tiger sect disciples with towering physiques pursuing body cultivation, and Cloud Sea Cave disciples in white robes with an ethereal disposition. Over 100 disciples from Qingzhou's righteous sects had gathered here, including quite a few inner disciples and even some talented disciples at the 10 levels of Yunling realm. Not everyone was trying to trick Ghost Ridge Palace by sending outer disciples to deceive them. Many righteous sects understood the irreversible trend and sent real talents here for further study to build relations with Ghost Ridge Palace. These disciples sat cross-legged in the martial arts arena, engaging in lively discussions, laughing and chatting, creating a lively atmosphere. Su Chong, seeing this scene, felt an odd sensation in his heart, because he clearly saw a dozen or so Ghost Ridge Palace disciples present too, discussing the Tao with righteous disciples, and the scene was surprisingly harmonious. The two sides, who were supposed to be at each other's throats, were sitting together, drinking tea and chatting. Zhang Exine patted Su Chang's shoulder, explaining the rules. "This is your study palace for further training. Besides 3 meals a day, there are appointed elder tutors every morning to guide you in cultivation knowledge and answer your questions, but it's up to you whether to listen. In the afternoon and evening, you're free to do as you please. There are no restrictions on your freedom. You can work, make friends, or visit the book collection pavilion. Anything goes." After speaking, Zhang Exine pointed to the martial arts arena and said, "I suggest you make friends with these people. They arrived a few days before you, so you can ask them if there's anything you don't understand." After saying this, Zhang Exine found a residence for Su Chong and then leisurely turned to leave. "Senior brother, should we go over there?" Once Zhang Exine left, a junior sister from the Golden Sword sect softly asked, her gaze directed towards the martial arts arena. "Go for what? What's there to discuss with those heretical demon paths? Learn how to kill and skin people." Su Chong snorted coldly. As a sword cultivator, he had his own pride and disdained mingling with those demon cultivators. Moreover, Su Chong didn't think Ghost Ridge Palace had anything to teach him. They were sword cultivators, not bug enthusiasts. Their expertise didn't match. He came to Ghost Ridge Palace with the intention of just spending his days, planning to return to the sect after half a year. If he truly learned from Ghost Ridge Palace and went back, what if the Golden Sword sect accused him of abandoning his sect's principles? Even if he had reasons, they would be hard to explain. A few disciples from the Golden Sword sect could only follow Su Chong back to the house after hearing this. That evening, several righteous sect disciples came knocking on the house, intending to have a chat with Su Chong and the others. However, Su Chong was unwilling to speak, not thinking much of these righteous cultivators who were clinging to Ghost Ridge Palace, feeling ashamed to associate with them and appeared very distant and arrogant. The enthusiasm of these righteous cultivators met with cold disregard, so naturally, they wouldn't seek to please him. Before leaving, faint mutterings from the righteous cultivators could still be heard. These guys who practice swordsmanship have fried their brains, so stubborn. What's so great about being a sword cultivator? If you've got guts, don't come here. Who are they putting on airs for? And they'll suffer for it sooner or later. Su Chong paid no attention, assuming they were just envious of his noble demeanor. The night passed without incident. The next morning, while the morning mist had not yet dissipated, the morning bells rang in the schoolhouse. Su Chong got up to see a group of Qingzhou righteous cultivators running to the martial arts arena. There, an old man with an immortal aura was sitting cross-legged on a cushion. The old man's face looked kind and gentle, his silver-white eyebrows as white as snow, a jade gourd hanging from his waist, holding a duster in his left hand and forming a Taoist gesture with his right. Invisible spiritual power surged, and countless runes seemed to flow in the void, with the sound of the Tao faintly heard. Who is this person? Su Chang's heart skipped a beat when he saw the old man with an immortal aura. The aura emitted by the old man was far more powerful than his master's at the secret realm 3rd level, immeasurable, like a sparrow viewing an eagle, a stream meeting the sea, deep and unfathomable. Elder Tang, Elder Tang, Elder Tang. One by one, the righteous disciples greeted respectfully, their excitement barely concealed. They quickly ran to grab the cushions on the ground, hoping to get closer to the immortal-like elder. Elder Tang, could it be Tang Peiqing, a great power in the Taoist platform realm? Such a great figure is giving us a lecture. The disciples from the Golden Sword sect were taken aback when they heard the title Elder Tang. Before coming to Ghost Ridge Palace, the elders of the Golden Sword sect had briefed them on the powerful figures in Ghost Ridge Palace. Among them was the supreme Elder Tang Peiqing, with a lifespan of several centuries, an authentic Taoist platform realm powerhouse. These Golden Sword sect disciples didn't expect Ghost Ridge Palace to be so generous. Initially, they thought having a lecture from a secret realm elder would be good, but it turned out to be a Taoist platform realm powerhouse personally explaining the way. Today we continue the lecture, discussing the crucial points from the 5th level to the 6th level of Yunling realm, hoping it will aid those present who wish to advance and become inner disciples. Tang Peiqing stroked his snow-white goatee with a kindly expression and began. The method of immortals differs from ordinary people in the sanctity of immortality. As it is said, gold and jade in the 9 orifices prevent decay for the dead. If brine touches the flesh and marrow, the preserved meat will not rot. What more when things beneficial to life are taken within oneself? How then is it surprising that it grants longevity? The teachings were as if the flowers were bursting from the tongue. The Taoist sounds resonated, and the righteous disciples listening were mesmerized. Some were immersed, listening and comprehending, others furiously jotting down notes to study carefully later. Just attempts to seduce me, not worth mentioning. Su Chong forced himself to resist, maintaining composure and remaining steadfast. However, some junior disciples of the Golden Sword sect didn't have such self-control. After all, this was a lecture by a Taoist platform realm great power. A lecture by someone of this realm, they had no chance to hear at the Golden Sword sect, nor would there be a Taoist platform realm powerhouse willing to answer the questions of these outer disciples. Even secret realm elders would not specially give lectures to them, as those were reserved for inner disciples. Especially for many outer disciples, Tang Peiqing was discussing the breakthroughs from the 5th level to the 6th level of Yunling realm, the dividing line between outer and inner disciples. This was an incredible opportunity for many outer disciples. Senior brother, my stomach hurts a bit. I'll go to the restroom first. Seeing the lecture start, a junior brother from the Golden Sword sect clutched his stomach, appearing in great pain. Before Su Chong could respond, he dashed out with a whoosh, quickly disappearing. Senior brother, I'm hungry. I'll get something to eat. A junior sister's eyes darted as she coyly remarked before hurrying out of the room, her walk a shimmy that betrayed her urgency. Su Chong then realized, glaring sternly at the remaining junior brothers. What are you going to run to, having forgotten the teachings of your sect? Where's your sword cultivator pride? The two junior disciples, who were also thinking of slipping away, looked at their senior brother blocking the door, complaining pitifully. Senior brother, you misunderstand me. I had no intention of sneaking off to listen to the lecture. I'm not like junior sister Jia Chu Chu. I'm not hungry. Senior brother, me too. Yuning is lacking in loyalty. He's already at 5th level Yunling realm, yet claims his stomach hurts. He's obviously coveting the Taoist platform realm elder's lecture. When he returns, I'll surely scold him severely. Hearing the two junior brothers, Su Chang's expression softened a little, and he admonished them, warning against mingling with Ghost Ridge Palace, then turned to shut the door. But as he approached the door, an involuntary twitch occurred at the corner of his eye, because he saw his junior brother and sister, Yuning, who claimed stomach pain, was now in the martial arts arena, sitting on a cushion, eagerly listening, with no sign of his earlier discomfort. His junior sister was even more outrageous, showing no feminine reserve. Squeezing out several righteous cultivators, amidst annoyed glares, she both acted cute and apologized, using her advantage as a female cultivator to forcibly move forward for a better hearing of Tang Peiqing's lecture. Disgraceful, utterly disgraceful. They've completely discarded our sword cultivator pride. Su Chang's face turned ashen with anger, infuriated by these two. He had said to keep distance from Ghost Ridge Palace last night, yet his junior brother and sister had gone to listen today. Their betrayal was too swift. Slamming the door shut, Su Chang turned to see the eager faces of his two junior brothers, their eyes longing to join those outside. Stop looking. Pull back your eyes. Su Chang snorted coldly, waking them, and warned, I'm telling you, there's nothing worth listening to from Ghost Ridge Palace. Do they understand sword cultivation? Our golden sword sect materials are enough for you to learn. The two disciples shrank back, daring not to speak. But what they thought inside was unknown to outsiders, as the lecture giver was a Taoist platform realm powerhouse. Knock, knock. Suddenly, the door was knocked. It was a servant disciple from Ghost Ridge Palace bringing breakfast, curiously glancing at those inside, saying, Hey, aren't you going to listen to the lecture? Elder Tang is personally lecturing. Such opportunities aren't an everyday occurrence. This statement seemed to touch Su Chang's sore spot. As if a cat had its tail stepped on, he furiously declared, Attend the lecture? I, Su Chang, would rather starve, die outside, jump out from here, than listen to a word from you. This voice was extremely firm, with an undoubtedly unyielding attitude. Su Chang was just such a steadfast sword cultivator. He would never betray his sect. Su Chang spent a few days in the study palace, maintaining his self-restraint. Every morning, a Ghost Ridge Palace elder would deliver a lecture at the study palace. Although not every lecture was by a Taoist platform realm expert, those who lectured were all senior secret realm cultivators, which was irresistibly tempting for the outer disciples still in the Yunling realm. In just 2 short days, even the remaining 2 junior brothers had started to waver and joined the group listening to the lectures. Su Chang was extremely frustrated, and what bothered him even more was that, aside from listening to the lectures, his junior brothers and sisters had done something even more excessive. In the dead of night, Su Chang sat alone in the courtyard. The courtyard was unlit, with only a few shadows sneaking in quietly, seemingly planning to get into the house unnoticed. Humph! Su Chang pressed the light switch, and the courtyard instantly lit up, revealing the sneaky figures of 4 junior brothers and sisters. What kind of sneaky business are you up to? What disgraceful things have you done? Su Chang slapped the chair, angrily questioning the 4 junior brothers and sisters who hadn't been seen all day. The few people were startled. After realizing it was Su Chang, they immediately hung their heads, looking embarrassed. Why are you all silent? Where did you go all day? Su Chang looked puzzled, not knowing where these people had gone today. Ahem, senior brother. We were just wandering around. The little junior sister Jia Chu Chu tried to brush it off. Knowing that her senior brother disliked the Ghost Ridge Palace, she dared not tell the truth. Tell the truth. Su Chong looked at them disapprovingly, pointing at the dirt on their clothes. Look at your clothes. Can you get so dirty just by strolling around? Tell me the truth. Seeing that they couldn't fool him, the few exchanged glances, and Jia Chu could only say awkwardly, Senior brother, we went to work. What work? You went to work for the Ghost Ridge Palace. Su Chang's face turned completely dark. Listening to lectures was bad enough, not to mention working for the Ghost Ridge Palace. In Su Chang's view, working for the Demon Path was an unforgivable act. Wasn't this colluding with the Demon Path? Yes, senior brother, we went to work in the puppet hall of Ghost Ridge Palace. They have a great demand for cultivators, and we don't need any puppetry skills. Just need to use spiritual power. We are just doing some odd jobs, but they pay us quite a bit of spirit stones. Today I earned 2 low-grade spirit stones. A junior brother, Yuning, excitedly said, even taking out 2 low-grade spirit stones from his pocket. 2 low-grade spirit stones a day, which is a whole 60 low-grade spirit stones a month. You must know, he is just an outer disciple, and in the Golden Sword sect, he could only earn a dozen or 20 spirit stones a month. Here in the Ghost Ridge Palace, it had doubled at once, which was the most tempting aspect for them. Such a well-paid job was recommended by other righteous sect disciples who came here for training, so they went over to try it today and worked until late at night. They actually earned 2 full spirit stones. Although the process was tiring, working till late night, the cultivator's physical qualities could endure it. Opportunities to earn spirit stones like this were not common. However, Yuning did not realize that Su Chong in front of him had his face clouded with dark anger. Foolishness! Do you realize what you are doing? You are righteous cultivators. How can you work for the Demon Path? How is this different from abetting the wicked? Su Chong roared, disheartened by their behavior, feeling utterly disappointed in them. Senior brother, we are only making some simple puppetry machines at Ghost Ridge Palace. We didn't help the disciples kill someone and dispose the body. It doesn't count as abetting the wicked, right? Yes, senior brother, other righteous cultivators are doing it. Why can't we? Moreover, it's not something heinous. We even earn merit points working for Ghost Ridge Palace. I heard that merit points can improve our level, and there are many benefits in Ghost Ridge Palace. We can't waste such a great opportunity. A few disciples protested, feeling they did nothing wrong and were just doing some simple tasks. Humph! Look at you all, only a few days in Ghost Ridge Palace and already so corrupted. Now you're audacious enough to work for them. What will you do in the future? I can't even imagine. Su Chang's expression was grim. He couldn't understand why his fellow Golden Sword sect disciples couldn't learn from him and had completely forgotten the sword cultivator's pride. The Golden Sword sect disciples fell silent, but inwardly they were quite discontented, secretly mocking. Naturally, Su Chong didn't lack such spirit stones. He was an inner disciple, but for them, the outer disciples, it was difficult to obtain resources. Nobody wanted to miss the chance to earn spirit stones. Seeing them not speaking, this meeting naturally ended in an unhappy note. Before leaving, Su Chong said, reflect on your actions. We eventually have to return to the Golden Sword sect. In the subsequent period, Su Chong found that his junior brothers and sisters went out early and returned late every day. His warning had no effect. The few disciples had been completely blinded by the spirit stones of Ghost Ridge Palace. Not only Golden Sword sect disciples, but many righteous disciples went to work for Ghost Ridge Palace. After all, working in the puppet hall, apart from being a bit more tiring, they indeed paid spirit stones, far exceeding their previous incomes, drawing many righteous disciples who came for training. This went on for more than half a month. On this day, Su Chong sat cross-legged in the courtyard as usual, closed his eyes, and absorbed spiritual energy. Suddenly, he keenly sensed a wave of sword intent, and his eyes snapped open. Su Chong stood up swiftly, took a few steps, opened the window, and looked towards the direction from where the sword intent emanated. Then he saw his junior sister Jia Chu holding a long sword. As the blade danced, invisible gusts of wind swept through, causing the leaves of several old trees to rustle, as fallen leaves floated down. Frost Rain 100 Sword Technique. With a soft exclamation from Jia Chuchu, the sword chi split into hundreds of streams, the frosty blades slicing through the falling leaves, carrying an extreme chill. The cold wind enveloped the shattered ice fragments, freezing the fallen leaves entirely, which shattered like glass upon hitting the ground. This frosty sword intent was something Su Chang had never seen before. Despite cultivating in the Golden Sword sect for so long, he had never encountered a sword skill that wielded such cold energy. Considering Jia Chuchu's status, even if there were swordsmanship he didn't know about, it wasn't something an outer disciple like her should be able to learn. Jia Chuchu took a couple of light breaths, resting her forehead against the cold blade. The white mist she exhaled condensed into tiny ice flowers on the blade's surface. Her face lit with joy. This set of Frost Rain 100 sword technique is truly formidable, much more powerful than the sword skills I practiced before. Where did this sword skill come from? At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded from behind Jia Chuchu. Jia Chuchu turned around to see her senior brother standing behind her at an unknown time, his keen gaze fixed on the long sword in her hand. Senior brother. Jia Chuchu was a bit nervous, instinctively hiding the long sword behind her back. But this action, much like loudly declaring one's innocence, only further revealed her lack of confidence. Speak up. I'm not coveting your sword skill. I'm just curious. Where did you get this sword technique from? In our Golden Sword sect, I've never seen such sword skills utilizing cold energy for attack. Su Chang said deeply. The sword skills of their Golden Sword sect primarily focused on the sharp metal of the 5 elements, a fact evident from their sect's name. As a sword cultivator, he was most obsessed with swordsmanship, and seeing Jia Chuchu perform a sword skill entirely different from the Golden Sword sects, something so novel made his heart itch with curiosity. Senior brother, I got it from the book collection pavilion of the Ghost Ridge Palace. Jia Chuchu knew she couldn't hide it, so she had to speak truthfully. The Ghost Ridge Palace? Su Chang's eyes widened. Yes, I heard people say that Su sect master of Ghost Ridge Palace once seized hundreds of sword skills from the 10,000 Sword Alliance in Qing province. These skills are all displayed at the book collection pavilion, allowing sect disciples to exchange them for sufficient merit points and spirit stones. In Ghost Ridge Palace, they don't restrict the disciples' learning of magic skills, but require them to accumulate merit points. The more contribution to the sect, the greater the merit points, fulfilling the exchange requirements for more advanced skills. It's said that even the sect-defining skill of Guanchao Pavilion, the Bibo Sea Covering skill, the famous Blood Sea Devouring Sky Demon skill of Su sect master of Ghost Ridge Palace, and the sect-defining skill of the 10,000 Sword Alliance, the Star Constellation Sword Technique, can all be learned if the requirements are met. At this point, Jia Chuchu's eyes gleamed with excitement. I've been working day and night at the Puppet Hall recently just to save enough merit points, plus some of my own spirit stone savings, and I finally bought this skill. Although it's not as good as those advanced skills, much less the sect-defining ones, I feel it suits my constitution very well, and I progress faster learning it compared to the Golden Sword sect's swordsmanship. On the other hand, Su Chang was utterly astounded. Skills often form the foundation of a sect and are strictly controlled. For instance, in Ghost Ridge Palace, techniques like the insect control technique, the human worm refining technique, and the body worm focusing method, the 3 Gu Master Classics, are only available to the inner disciples, which is the same in other sects. But now Ghost Ridge Palace has broken this unwritten rule of sects, surprisingly allowing even outer disciples to access profound skills. No, Jia Chuchu isn't even a disciple of Ghost Ridge Palace. Yet she was allowed to learn, which Su Chang found unbelievable. Involuntarily, Su Chang's breathing became heavier, especially upon hearing about the star formation. His eyes burned fervently. The 10,000 Sword Alliance, that is the second major sect in Qing province, having the qualification to threaten the status of the Qing province righteous sect leader, the Fire Cloud Palace, following a pure sword cultivator path. In terms of swordplay prowess, Golden Sword sect isn't even qualified to carry shoes for the 10,000 Sword Alliance. After all, Golden Sword sect is just an ordinary sect in Qingzhou. If cultivators of equal realms were to confront each other, 10,000 Sword Alliance disciples might be able to defeat 3 of their Golden Sword sect members. The disparity is that vast. Senior brother. Senior brother? What's wrong with you? Jia Chuchu called Su Chong several times before he snapped back to his senses. I'm fine. Su Chong took a deep look at the long sword in Jia Chuchu's hands, his heart pounding uncontrollably. He no longer pursued the matter of his junior sister working for Ghost Ridge Palace, as he himself was tempted. Next morning, the morning mist had not yet dissipated, and dewdrops clung to the branches and leaves. In the study palace's martial arts arena, Tang Peiqing descended gracefully from the sky dome. Below him, righteous disciples from all over Qingzhou, here for further studies, were already waiting to listen to his guidance and clarification. Senior brother, what are you? However, amidst the crowd, a small incident occurred. Jia Chuchu and 4 other Golden Sword sect disciples blinked rapidly, looking puzzled at Su Chong, who was strolling around with his hands behind his back and his head held high. Cough, cough. It's nothing. I'm just wandering around. Su Chong coughed twice, his eyes darting around evasively. Jia Chuchu and the others gave him peculiar looks, and some of the other righteous disciples curiously observed this unfamiliar face, Su Chong. They had been here to study and listen to teachings for almost a month, and for many, it was the first time seeing Su Chong. This was because Su Chong lived a reclusive life to avoid getting too deeply involved with Ghost Ridge Palace. This is my senior brother, an inner disciple, Jia Chuchu explained to familiar friends, to prevent Su Chong from feeling out of place. Next, we will continue yesterday's lecture. This time, I will personally share some insights into the 10 levels of Yunling realm, which involves the 5 elements theory, closely related to the future cultivation within the secret realm. Tang Peiqing began speaking slowly, and the crowd settled down. All eyes were now focused on listening to the teachings, with no one paying attention to Su Chong anymore. This made Su Chong breathe a sigh of relief. He leaned against a landscape tree, pretending to admire the scenery, while actually listening intently. After half an hour, Tang Peiqing temporarily paused and smiled. Today's lecture on the 5 elements theory will end here for now. Next, I will answer your questions and provide some examples. The youngster leaning against the tree. I see you bear sword intent, but the gung metal in your lower dantian is too dark, suggesting you've encountered an error in your cultivation. When you return, perhaps you should try boiling and consuming flame sunflower and find a fire attribute cushion for meditation. Fire restrains metal, and when these two harmonize and run in the 12 great circuits, only then can you resolve it. Otherwise, your path to breaking through to the secret realm will be very arduous. Su Chong was stunned. His lower dantian had indeed been faintly aching, and he had never figured out why. Even his own master hadn't discerned the issue, yet today Tang Peiqing had illuminated the problem and provided a solution. Thank you, Elder Tang, for your enlightenment. I will never forget your kindness. Gratitude welled up in Su Chang's heart, and he bowed deeply to Tang Peiqing. The nearby righteous disciples were envious. Being guided by a Taoist platform realm expert is truly a rare fortune. Tang Peiqing continued to instruct several other cultivators and then took off into the air amidst the reluctant gazes of numerous righteous disciples. Senior brother. Jia Chuchu and a few junior brothers and sisters ran over to Su Chong. Well, I was just genuinely grateful for Elder Tang's guidance. He is indeed a senior with great cultivation, humble and courteous, unlike those bloodthirsty demon cultivators. But this only applies to Elder Tang personally, and does not mean I endorse the demon path. Seeing the juniors giggle secretly, Su Chong remained stubborn in his words. Yes, we understand, senior brother. The Golden Sword sect disciples didn't argue, just exchanged glances, seeing the teasing in each other's eyes. By the afternoon, in the area where Ghost Ridge Palace's puppet hall was located, it had been transformed into a massive production district. Towering iron furnaces were everywhere, the intense heat distorting the air. On the production line, similar to an assembly line, rudimentary puppet machines autonomously followed the procedures, producing various components. There were also puppet hall disciples who mastered puppetry techniques, carving formations on puppet parts, meticulously crafting precision components and tuning the products. Apart from common war weapons like the Spider main battle mecha, many are everyday technology products usable by ordinary people. Here, aside from the official Puppet Hall disciples, most were Ghost Ridge Palace juniors coming to work part-time. Puppet Hall is the largest hall within Ghost Ridge Palace, encompassing all the disciples with talent in puppetry within the sect, but it still couldn't meet the production demand. Therefore, Puppet Hall constantly recruits a large number of part-time disciples, using their spiritual power for simple tasks. Due to the generous treatment, the number of disciples coming to work part-time was several times that of the official Puppet Hall disciples. With a third level of Yunling realm cultivation, the C District Steel Refining Plant is working on quenching Spirit Pattern Treasure Steel, where they're shorthanded. Head there and you'll get paid 2 Spirit Stones daily. Are you willing? Willing. I'm not afraid of hardship. Firefly C here needs people to collect Firefly Stone mines. Do we have any proficient divers? We need 30 people to dive for mining, cultivation at least 5th level of Yunling realm or above. We will reward Spirit Stones based on the quantity mined. Minimum daily guarantee of 4 Spirit Stones. Me. Pick me. I'm great at swimming. Diving is definitely not a problem. At the gate, the disciples lined up to work part-time, under the assignment of the official Puppet Hall disciples, entered various positions to start working in an orderly manner. What's wrong with your face? The Puppet Hall disciple in charge of allocation and registration paused, looking at the person standing in front of them, covered in black clothing revealing only the eyes, nose, and mouth, like a masked bandit, instinctively stepped back a few steps. I recently had a mishap in cultivation. It's unpleasant to look at. Su Chang spoke in a hoarse voice. For the sake of the 10,000 Sword Alliance's cultivation techniques in the book collection pavilion, he ultimately couldn't resist coming to work, but his shame made it hard for him to save face. Afraid of being recognized as a righteous disciple, he resorted to donning all black. Practicing the human worm offering technique, are you? Sai, I must say you all are so stubborn. Even the sect master doesn't allow you to do such reckless things. Yet you're still persisting in cultivating such a lethal technique, making yourself neither human nor ghost. The registering Puppet Hall disciple shook his head and said, "What's your cultivation level? Since your body is damaged, I'll arrange some simple tasks for you. 7th level of Yunling realm." What? This time, the registering Puppet Hall disciple was genuinely surprised. After all, being a part-time worker as an inner disciple, the monthly salary that the sect rewards is 100 low-grade Spirit Stones. Plus, they often have other sources of income or are busy with cultivation, so they aren't short of the reward of a few Spirit Stones a day. Generally, they wouldn't come to the Puppet Hall for odd jobs. The surrounding disciples in line were also drawn in, all casting curious glances. Inner disciples coming to do part-time work is indeed a rare sight, so everyone couldn't help but find it intriguing. I have a 7th level cultivation in Yunling realm. Su Chang saw others' disbelief and subconsciously strengthened his tone, simultaneously releasing his spiritual power to prove his words were not false. However, with Su Chang's shift in tone, Jia Chu, who was also in line, felt the voice seemed somewhat familiar. This voice, it sounds a bit familiar. I think so too. Seems like I've heard it somewhere before. Other Golden Sword sect disciples also felt similarly. Jia Chu stared at the person in black at the front and felt more and more familiar. Moreover, since her senior brother also had a 7th level cultivation in Yunling realm, a guess formed in her heart. Do you think that might be senior brother? Jia Chu voiced her bold guess. No way, wasn't senior brother the one who hated the Ghost Ridge Palace the most? How could he possibly come here to work for the Puppet Hall? He scolded us last time for aiding the Ghost Ridge Palace. No way he would come here. Senior brother is the proudest. It absolutely can't be him. The other junior brothers repeatedly shook their heads, refusing to believe Su Chang would come here. Humph, you are all so stubborn. Senior brother can also adapt. Don't you understand? Jia Chu saw they didn't believe her guess. Her eyes turned, and she shouted at Su Chang's back. Senior brother Su, look up, There's a sword cultivator doing sword control and sky escape. Jia Chuchu knew her senior brother was a sword enthusiast and would definitely react upon hearing about a sword cultivator. Where? Sure enough, upon hearing the voice, Su Chong instinctively looked up. Those able to perform sword control and sky escape are basically secret realm sword cultivators, strong at their level. Such sword cultivators were rare in the Golden Sword sect, even more so in the Ghost Ridge Palace. However, there was nothing overhead, not even a hair. Su Chong suddenly realized, recalling that familiar voice just now, and his body froze. Senior brother Su, it really is you. I told you it was our senior brother. Jia Chuchu waved her little fist, her face full of smug satisfaction. The other 3 Golden Sword sect disciples also saw Su Chang's reaction. Combined with that familiar feeling, Jia Chuchu was indeed correct. Immediately, these Golden Sword sect disciples looked at Su Chang's back, their eyes full of shock, not expecting their senior brother, who was the most opposed to the Ghost Ridge Palace, to have also fallen. Su Chong was completely overwhelmed by shame, wishing he could find a crack in the ground to hide. The person he most wanted to avoid had still seen through his disguise. Oh, I was wondering why an inner disciple would come to work. Turns out it's a righteous cultivator here for further training. No wonder, acting so sneaky, afraid we'd recognize him. These righteous disciples are really thin-skinned. There's nothing embarrassing about it. The disciples from the Ghost Ridge Palace in line also laughed, realizing everything. Su Chong was socially mortified on the spot, standing like a statue, unmoving. Jia Chuchu seemed to realize belatedly that she might have caused trouble and awkwardly said, "Senior brother, I didn't mean to." Su Chong took a deep breath. It took him a good half-minute before he finally chose to remove his mask. "I am Su Chong from the Golden Sword sect. I used to have misunderstandings about Ghost Ridge Palace, but through real interaction, I found that it's not just any ordinary demon path. Especially your system, there's much I admire, more open, advanced, and superior in many areas compared to our righteous sections. I've come specifically to learn and observe. I apologize for any offense." Su Chang's voice was full of ups and downs, but after truly letting go of his inner pretense, his speech was finally empowered, daring to face his heart. The Ghost Ridge Palace, indeed, had areas he needed to come to learn from. Our Ghost Ridge Palace welcomes all friends with common interests, even if they are from the righteous path. The registering Puppet Hall disciple cupped his hands, his tone gentle. The products produced by their Puppet Hall are sold to these righteous sects, after all. Once Su Chong was trained, he could help bring in sales for them. "Thank you." Su Chong returned the courtesy. Both shared a smile. This left the few Golden Sword sect disciples stunned. Is this truly their senior brother who rejected the Ghost Ridge Palace? Su Chong untangled his internal knot, immediately registered there, and began his day of work at the Puppet Hall in the Ghost Ridge Palace. Thus, Su Chong, the most resolute among the righteous disciples who came for further training, ultimately violated his initial vow, becoming one who worked for the demon path. Half a year passed in the blink of an eye. Qingzhou 5 Peaks Mountain, in front of the Golden Sword sect's mountain gate. A group of 5 people returned here, worn out from their travels. Finally back home. Su Chong looked at the mountain gate ahead, quickened his pace, and the 4 junior sisters and brothers behind him followed closely. After half a year, the aura around Su Chong grew even sharper. Standing there, he resembled an unsheathed sword. "Halt!" The disciples guarding the mountain gate saw them and stopped them at first sight. Because Su Chong and the others were not wearing the Golden Sword sect's attire but rather a set they bought, made from ice silkworm silk, a blue robe. The style of these robes was relatively novel, created using puppet machinery assembly lines, making them considerably cheaper. It was the latest fashion trend at Ghost Ridge Palace. "I am Su Chong, an inner disciple, and today I return from advanced studies at Ghost Ridge Palace." Su Chong showed the token in his hand, which represented his identity, allowing them to smoothly enter the sect. Stepping onto the winding stone steps, entering the mountain gate area. The archway bore a plaque saying Sword Heart Clarity, with two golden flying swords crossed on either side. Disciples clad in green attire cultivated here. Some maintained and refined their flying swords at the sword washing pool, while others practiced sword techniques and demonstrated swordsmanship. Noticing Su Chong and his companions, dressed incongruously, many turned their eyes towards them. Familiar faces recognized their identities, especially since Su Chong, being an inner disciple, was quite well known within the Golden Sword sect. It's senior brother Su Chong. They're back from Ghost Ridge Palace. I never thought I'd see them in my lifetime. I thought they'd never return after entering the Demon Cave. Let's go and check it out. It's been a while, senior brother Su. Tell us about Ghost Ridge Palace. Surely those demon cultivators bullied you, huh? You've suffered, haven't you? The curious Golden Sword sect disciples gathered around, intrigued by Su Chong and the others' experiences at Ghost Ridge Palace. Heh, we weren't bullied at Ghost Ridge Palace. Rather, they treated us with genuine hospitality. Upon hearing some slander, Jia Chuchu immediately became displeased and stood out to refute it. While speaking, Jia Chuchu spread her spiritual power, displaying it to everyone, revealing 6th level of Yunling Realm's spiritual power strength, and proudly said, "Look, my cultivation is now at the inner disciple level." Seeing this, the other disciples returning from advanced studies couldn't help but boast about their progress, showing off new items from their storage bags. Come, everyone, I have some good stuff to show. This is called a mobile phone, the most popular item at Ghost Ridge Palace now. It can communicate over 1,000 miles instantly, with many intriguing and entertaining functions. This is called the Spider Mecha, useful for combat and production. I saved up quite a bit to buy it. You probably haven't seen anything like this. It's a new flying puppet combining spirit stones with mechanics. With it, Yunling Realm disciples can have flight ability. The Golden Sword sect disciples took out their treasures, causing a stir among the crowd with various wondrous puppet tools, leaving them awestruck. Want a mobile phone? No problem. 20 spirit stones per unit. Jia Chuchu, the most business-savvy among them, had signed a partnership deal with Puppet Hall, specially sourcing a batch of mobile phones to sell to Golden Sword sect disciples. Mobile phones are the latest creation from Puppet Hall. Though most functions are truncated, akin to Blue Star standards from 20 years ago, it can communicate, take photos, and join forums, enabling cultivators to chat far and wide. This is thanks to Puppet Hall's relentless upgrades and increasing launches of Sky Eye satellites. In Qingzhou, mobile signal coverage is widespread and seamless. Mobile phones were launched just a month ago, creating a sensation throughout Ghost Ridge Palace. But in the insulated Golden Sword sect, this was the first instance of someone bringing mobile phones here. Not surprisingly, after Jia Chuchu demonstrated how to use the mobile phones, more and more Golden Sword sect disciples grew tempted. Despite the high price, many cultivators gritted their teeth and chose to buy one. Not for anything else but for the opportunity to communicate with cultivators outside the sect. Some seniors even selflessly shared their cultivation insights on forums, invaluable for expanding one's horizons. Jia Chuchu eagerly collected the money, realizing that the phones she brought wouldn't suffice for the demand, feeling this business had real potential. Thrilled by the taste of success, she couldn't wait to rest for a couple of days before returning to Ghost Ridge Palace for more stock. Increasing numbers of disciples gathered, including some inner disciples. Humph! Some people return from the demon cave without shame and make such a pompous display. Do they think this is something worth flaunting? A mocking voice rang from afar, and the gathered Golden Sword sect outer disciples automatically made way as several inner disciples approached. The speaker was a man in a white robe, bearing an extraordinary demeanor. He was Pei Yuan, a Golden Sword sect disciple of the Yunling Realm 8th level. He and Su Chong apprenticed under the same master, but their relationship had never been amicable. Pei Yuan, stop looking for trouble. Su Chong curled his lips. He had past conflicts with Pei Yuan. Although they both shared the same master, the competition was always fierce. But because Pei Yuan's cultivation was higher, Su Chong was mostly suppressed. I just can't stand you selling demon artifacts in the sect. Do you want to contaminate the sacredness of our sect? We sword cultivators only need to believe in the swords in our hands. All this talk of mobile phones and puppet machinery is just a distraction from our sword heart. Standing on the moral high ground, Pei Yuan attempted to make Su Chong the public enemy, sneering, "Today, I'll teach you sect traitors who spread demon path ideologies a good lesson on behalf of our master and the sect." As soon as he finished speaking, Pei Yuan flicked his sleeve, and a gleam of cold light sliced through the air. It was a shining mid-grade flying sword, its sword chi surging and roaring, producing explosive sounds. Pei Yuan knew Su Chang's situation well. With 7th-level Yunling realm cultivation and a mere low-grade life-bound flying sword, he had full confidence to crush his opponent. Su Chong remained expressionless, merely forming a sword technique with his hands. "If you want a sword duel, I couldn't be more pleased." The low-grade flying sword at his waist spun instantly, bursting with a shimmering blue light. In the moment the two long swords clashed, the ground split into web-like ravines. In the collision, the blue light instantly overpowered the golden light. Su Chang's low-grade flying sword's tip exploded with crimson rays, transforming into a 3-legged golden crow that attacked with its wings. The intense heat turned the hair of many onlooking disciples dry and curly. They cried out in surprise and retreated repeatedly. Bang! Pei Yuan's mid-grade flying sword was driven into the ground, its blade still vibrating, seeming to wail. What sword technique is that?" Pei Yuan's eyes widened in disbelief. Clearly his flying sword was superior, so how did he lose so thoroughly? And the sword technique Su Chong used, he had never seen before. They both learned from the same master. There was no reason Su Chong knew a sword technique he didn't. Had their master secretly taught Su Chong something? As that thought crossed Pei Yuan's mind, Su Chang's flying sword had already reached him. "Stop! Daring, Su Chong. Do you intend to harm your fellow sect brothers? Let's go together. Teach this guy a lesson." Thinking he can act superior just because he returned from Ghost Ridge Palace, the faces of several surrounding inner disciples changed. Being there with Pei Yuan, they naturally had a good relationship with him. They couldn't just stand by while Pei Yuan was bullied, nor did they want Su Chong to steal the spotlight. In an instant, several people controlled their swords, and several flying swords shot out in the blink of an eye, but they underestimated Su Chong. Su Chong simultaneously performed sword techniques with both hands, channeling spiritual power through the sword edge. Countless runes appeared on the blade, igniting scorching golden flames, forming into true fire chains, finally assembling into a red profound snake, crossing the sky. The incoming flying swords were directly entangled and wrapped by the golden flame profound snake. Either they were knocked away, or they fell to the ground whimpering, with slight cracks on their blades. Puff! Several inner disciples spat blood, their pupils dilating in astonishment, suffering internal injuries. Without barriers, Su Chang's flying sword, like a red meteor, swooped down while Pei Yuan watched with frightened eyes. Shoo! This slash could easily sever Pei Yuan's head, but Su Chong restrained the flying sword's power just in time. A verbal dispute hadn't escalated to the point of killing, so the flying sword merely pierced Pei Yuan's shoulder, pinning him to a big tree. This is the fiery sun-breaking sky sword technique, from the Ghost Ridge Palace's book collection pavilion, inherited from Qingzhou's 10,000 Sword Alliance's supreme art. Su Chong looked at Pei Yuan, whose face was ashen, speaking each word clearly, while displaying his own cultivation. The spiritual power fluctuation spread, revealing a Yunling realm 9th level cultivation. The entire scene was shocked, and countless disciples of the Golden Sword sect were astounded. Even several inner disciples couldn't contend together against Su Chong. Just how strong was his power? Yunling realm 9th level, how is that possible? Pei Yuan was dumbfounded. Wasn't Su Chong supposed to be abused and humiliated at Ghost Ridge Palace? How did his strength improve so much in half a year? The other disciples paid more attention to Su Chang's words, mentioning the 10,000 Sword Alliance's inheritance from Ghost Ridge Palace's book collection pavilion. The swordsmanship of the 10,000 Sword Alliance far surpassed their Golden Sword sect, No wonder Suchong was so formidable. Ghost Ridge Palace has discarded sect prejudices and, under the wise leadership of Su sect master, undergone radical reforms. Now in Ghost Ridge Palace, anyone who earns merit points can learn various powerful cultivation techniques. No matter if you're a servant disciple, outer disciple, or inner disciple, everyone has the opportunity for a destined change. Jia Chuchu appeared honored, educating the Golden Sword sect disciples on the various experiences at Ghost Ridge Palace. Ample Spirit Stone rewards for work, lectures from Taoist platform realm masters, a non-hierarchical system for exchanging contributions for cultivation techniques. The scene was again shaken, with many Golden Sword sect disciples' gazes transformed. Their hostility towards Ghost Ridge Palace turned into longing, feeling as if the air there was sweeter, yearning to go to Ghost Ridge Palace for study and advancement. This is no demon cave. It's clearly a holy land. Ghost Ridge Palace should indeed be called the Holy Sect. And similar scenes were playing out in each righteous sect. As righteous disciples returned to their own sects after studying at Ghost Ridge Palace, a cultural revolution sweeping across Qingzhou was spreading continuously. Time flows like water, always slipping away unnoticed. In the blink of an eye, 2 years have passed, and Qingzhou has increasingly come under the influence of the Ghost Ridge Palace during this time. The originally chaotic order is steadily improving, and the people are living peacefully. Various righteous sects initially found themselves pressured by the martial might of the Ghost Ridge Palace, but in the days that followed, they gradually realized the benefits of cooperation with the palace and began to actively involve themselves. Unlike the stability in Qingzhou, the Delhi dynasty has experienced several large-scale civil disturbances over these 2 years. In the north, the Divine Eagle Empire's cavalry moved south, invading endlessly, with warfare engulfing Jinzhou and Lianzhou, consuming numerous spiritual veins, foodie, and other resource-rich areas, as horse hooves trample over thousands of miles of fertile land. Countless civilians were captured and massacred, indeed leaving dead bones exposed in the wilderness, and silence over thousands of miles without the sound of roosters. To the west, the western region's countries had the Mahayana Buddhism proclaiming profound Buddhist law, attempting to convert the masses. In the east, overseas Immortal Sect also crossed the Sky Dome via their magic boat under the guise of forging friendships through Tao, suppressing many young talents of the Delhi dynasty. Not to mention within the Delhi dynasty, where natural and man-made disasters, harsh levees, floods and droughts, and the land consolidation by powerful landlords have left countless civilians displaced and homeless. These affected civilians either fled their homes or turned to banditry, simultaneously inciting numerous uprisings and rebellions both large and small. Although the Delhi dynasty retains capability with high-level martial forces, easily suppressing these civilian rebellious armies, the ongoing uprisings have greatly weakened the dynasty's vitality. This has increasingly revealed the signs of the dynasty's decline in these 2 years. Amidst such tumultuous times, on an official route leading to fucking city in southern Jingzhou, Guangyuan Prefecture, the sound of hooves echoed as a convoy approached. About 100 people comprised the convoy, vastly differing from the martial arts warriors and escort agency configuration typically seen in the Jianghu. The attire and demeanor of the convoy participants were starkly different from those of the Delhi dynasty. They wore loose monk robes, some with shaved heads bearing the mark of abandonment. A person stood at 2 meters tall, exuding a fierce aura, while others rode camels or walked barefoot. On closer inspection, it can be discerned that these camels are not mere beasts but spiritual beasts tamed by humans. Although those barefoot monks just walked on 2 legs, they proceeded several yards with each step, appearing to shrink the ground to inches and unmistakably displaying secret realm cultivation. At the center of the convoy, there stood a dragon elephant towering 5 yards high, with skin like rocky terrain, adorned with dragon scales on its head, bearing a trace of true dragon bloodline. Yet this dragon elephant, currently manipulated by someone, carried a palanquin inscribed with numerous Sanskrit symbols on its broad back. How far is it to fucking city? A single arm lifted the palanquin's curtain, revealing a young monk clad in white robes inside. He appeared young, with a complexion more delicate than most women, possessing an androgynous beauty, Even his smooth, bald head couldn't conceal his charm that could enthrall many amorous maidens. Reporting to the holy monk, we have about half an hour's journey left. A bald, robust monk standing nearly 2 meters tall, with a gruff voice, replied. Despite wearing monk robes, he exuded a fierce aura, resembling more a ferocious brigand than a compassionate monk. Speed up. Let's not keep our friend waiting. The young monk spoke softly and let down the palanquin's curtain as the convoy continued its journey. Half an hour later, the convoy arrived at Fucking City. Fucking City, a border city in Jingzhou, was merely 200 miles from Qingzhou, and also lay on the official route to Chongzhou, less than 50 miles away from Chongzhou. By the official route in Fucking City, there were already people waiting there. Bang! Suddenly, the dragon elephant seemed to sense danger and swung its snout while emitting a loud sound. The terrifying sound wave was akin to hundreds of meteors crashing down, instantly turning the earth ahead into riddled ground, ejecting soil several yards high. However, amidst such a terrible sound wave, a purple longling rose upstream and directly entwined the 4 legs of the dragon elephant. Roar! The dragon elephant, possessing a Taoist platform realm first-layer cultivation, roared repeatedly, trying to exert mountain-toppling strength but failing to break free from the purple longling's restraint, struggling fearfully and unsettlingly, causing series of tremors on the ground while monks nearby fell to the ground filled with shock and anger. Silence! Suddenly, a cold voice emerged from the palanquin atop the dragon elephant. Accompanied by the sound of wooden fish being struck, the frantic dragon elephant instantly quieted down. The palanquin's curtain was lifted as the fair-skinned youth monk emerged, joining his hands in prayer towards the front, smiling and saying, "Master Qin, I wonder what has offended you. There's no need for anger." His voice, like golden beads clashing, was as refreshing as a spring breeze, yet bore a subtle charm that nearly compelled one to bow down and submit instantly. As he spoke, a golden bowl appeared in his hand, and the purple ribbon restraining the dragon elephant's 4 legs was immediately pulled by a powerful suction, flying towards the golden bowl. Why are you Western demon monks not staying in Delhi City but coming to the south? In the woods, a graceful figure appeared without anyone knowing. She wore a white long dress, her face covered by a thin veil. Even with only half her face visible, her skin was as white as jade, captivating and alluring. She raised her jade-like hand, her snow-white wrist gesturing. The purple ribbon immediately danced in the air, breaking free from the golden bowl's strong suction, flying back like a spirit snake, and winding around her slender waist. Amitabha, it seems that Master Qin has many misunderstandings about us. Moreover, where we want to go is not under Master Qin's jurisdiction, is it? The young monk maintained a courteous attitude, not getting angry at the woman's derogatory address. The other accompanying monks were not so calm, many glaring angrily, clearly displeased with the term demon monk. I am the hall master of the White Tiger Hall of the Heavenly Patrol Department, overseeing the Western 4 continents. Since you hail from the Western regions, tell me how I, Qin Yushang, could not be involved. The woman's voice was icy, her gaze at the group on the opposite side filled with a strong warning. Aidi Jalua, I advise you to retreat swiftly. The cold voice intensified. A storm-like murderous intent swept, causing many monks present to change color, and even the dragon elephant had to take several steps back, very fearful. The Heavenly Patrol Department is a special institution established by the Daily Dynasty to investigate all directions, slay monsters and demons, and cleanse those troublemakers including cultivators and sects. The director of the Heavenly Patrol Department is recognized by the Daily Dynasty as a great power at the Purple Mansion realm level, with 4 halls: Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Xuanwu under its command. The Heavenly Patrol Department recruits experts nationwide, or selects children with talent for cultivation at a young age to train, using the power of the entire country for supply. The halls have many experts, especially each hall's master, who stands at the pinnacle of the Taoist platform realm. The woman claiming to be Qin Yushang is the White Tiger Hall master, undoubtedly powerful. Just the exposure of her murderous aura is hard for many monks at the secret realm to bear. Edi Jalua was not afraid of Qin Yushang's aura, descending from the dragon elephant's back and crossing the void. With each step, white lotus blossoms appear in the air, and the vegetation below flourishes, thriving with life. Amitabha, Master Qin might want to see this before considering whether to stop me. Reaching into the golden bowl, Edi Jalua took out a yellow scroll of imperial decree and opened it. Instantly, Qin Yushang's crescent-shaped Lu Mei furrowed deeply, for this yellow decree represented the Daili royal family. This is an imperial decree personally penned by your Emperor of Daili. I wonder if you recognize it? Or are you saying the authority of the Heavenly Patrol Department exceeds that of the Daili royal family? Edi Jalua's face bore a slight smile, as if prepared. Qin Yushang's aura gradually dissipated, coldly saying, I don't know how you tricked the decree, but fine, I will follow you to see what tricks you are playing. Edi Jalua's smile diminished somewhat, saying, Master Qin's relentless pursuit. Now that Daili City is teeming with clouds, that should be your destination. Following a poor monk will only lead to suffering. That's not your concern. The decree does not prohibit White Tiger Hall from following. You are unfamiliar with the place. I, as the White Tiger Hall master, will ensure your safety to avoid danger and disgrace the country. Qin Yushang remained unmoved because she knew what kind of nature the opposite group had. As the White Tiger Hall master, stationed in the western four continents of the Daili dynasty, Edi Jalua and his group came from the direction of the western regions. Their identity is the holy sect jointly established by the 16 western countries, known as esoteric Buddhism. On the surface, everyone worships the Buddha devoutly, but having been to the western regions, Qin Yushang knew very well the situation in the 16 western countries under esoteric Buddhism. Saying they were brainwashed, with their people turned into walking dead, would not be an exaggeration. In front of her, Edi Jalua, as the new generation holy monk of esoteric Buddhism, is the rising star of esoteric Buddhism in recent years. Originally, they came to the capital, Daili City of the Daili dynasty, under the guise of exchanging Buddhist Zen. Now, they suddenly headed to the southern part of the Daili dynasty, an area unrelated to esoteric Buddhism. Qin Yushang is unsure of their true intention, but it is certainly not a good one. Amitabha, since Master Qin is willing to escort us, then I'll trouble you. Seeing Qin Yushang's attitude, Edi Jalua turned and walked back to the dragon elephant's back. Don't let me catch your flaws. Qin Yushang withdrew her gaze, unable to intervene since the other party held the imperial decree. Moreover, the Daili dynasty was in turbulent times, offending esoteric Buddhism recklessly. If they were to wage war against the Daili dynasty, it would be like another bleeding wound for the dynasty. So even if Qin Yushang knew the other party had ulterior motives, she had to restrain herself, unable to directly resort to force. Leaving these final words, Qin Yushang turned around. Just at this moment, a gentle breeze blew, brushing her veil aside, revealing half of her face. One could catch a glimpse of the delicate curve of her nose and her tender lips, her skin like that of a freshly peeled egg. Unfortunately, this divine visage was swiftly covered again by the falling veil. Qin Yushang lightly swung her dress. Purple energy below transformed into a colorful, fierce tiger, carrying her away from sight. After the small conflict just now, Edi Jalua and his party did not continue on their way but chose to enter Fucking City to rest. Fucking City is a city with a population of 70,000. Because it is close to Qingzhou, a major grain-producing state with abundant resources, there are many traders from all over the country. The constant flow of convoys is bustling, and at the docks connecting to the Luochuan River tributaries, the noise of people is constant, and trading ships come and go without pause. The Western team led by Edi Jalua caused quite a stir upon entering Fucking City. Many local citizens gathered out of curiosity, especially drawn to the massive dragon elephant, whose every step seemed to shake the ground, capturing everyone's attention. This city seems quite fond of puppetry techniques. Edi Jalua dismounted from the dragon elephant, walking barefoot on the bluestone streets. His attention was caught by some puppets at the street sides, which were steel-forged puppet vehicles, equipped with several wheels underneath. They were loaded with large quantities of grain and supplies, constantly transporting goods to warehouses and docks. Puppetry techniques were nothing unusual. Aidi Jalawa had seen them before. However, generally speaking, puppets crafted by puppet masters were mainly humanoid puppets focused on combat. But the puppets before him were clearly not made for combat. They resembled purely transport tools, constructed not with expensive spiritual materials but with steel and similar materials. Moreover, they were operated not by cultivators but by ordinary people. Amit Babuda, pardon me, master. I am Aidi Jalawa, from the western regions, and it's my first time witnessing the Delhi dynasty's wondrous puppetry techniques. Might I ask what these puppets are called? Aidi Jalawa walked up to a puppet vehicle engaged in loading and unloading and asked the middle-aged man in the driver's seat with a gentle demeanor. Ah! The middle-aged man being asked dared not neglect the query because it was clear that Aidi Jalawa and his companions were not ordinary people. They certainly appeared to be exalted cultivators. He hurriedly jumped out of the vehicle. This is a puppet vehicle produced in Qingzhou, running on a type of black fuel. It's cost-effective and efficient, thus widely popularized in recent years. There are many similar puppet machines in Qingzhou, but since they require oil and electricity, they are only promoted in Qingzhou and some nearby border areas. Indeed, puppetry from Qingzhou. Aidi Jalawa pondered for a moment, as he didn't recall any sect in Qingzhou known for proficiency in puppetry. It's said to be made by the Ghost Ridge Palace. They've made plenty of things, like iron dragons capable of traveling 1,000 miles a day, flying iron birds, and large ships for the sea. The middle-aged man spoke eloquently, evidently familiar with Qingzhou, having been there. Ghost Ridge Palace, the strongest demon sect in Qingzhou. After an exchange, Aidi Jalawa seemed contemplative. He knew that in recent years, the demon path in Qingzhou had flourished. The demon sect known as Ghost Ridge Palace had overwhelmed the alliance of righteous sects, effectively dominating this large state. Qingzhou Demon Ghost Ridge Palace, interesting. After the mission to Chongzhou, I should pay Qingzhou a visit. With this thought in mind, Aidi Jalawa turned and took his leave. However, before leaving, Aidi Jalawa glanced upwards to his left. On the eaves of a street there, a white figure stood quietly. It was Qin Yushang, the hall master of the Heavenly Patrol Department's White Tiger Hall. Ghost Ridge Palace. Qin Yushang's bright eyes flickered as she watched the departing backs of Aidi Jalawa and his group, then turned and disappeared from the eaves. The next morning, at the fucking city docks, Aidi Jalawa led his team there. For the next leg of their journey, they would travel via waterway on the Delhi dynasty's largest river, the Luochuan River, heading to Chongzhou. The docks were bustling with activity, with many merchants and laborers busy at work, as well as some mechanical puppet creations similar in style to the puppet vehicles seen yesterday. Clearly the work of Ghost Ridge Palace. Besides that, to the left of the docks, hundreds of refugees were gathered. They were filthy, many emaciated and emitting a foul smell, yet they queued in an orderly fashion to board a ship. Once you reach Qingzhou, life will be better. Ghost Ridge Palace will arrange for you to farm and clear land or enter factories. As long as you work hard, you will have enough to eat. A merchant shouted instructions from the ship, organizing the refugee group to board. Upon hearing the name Ghost Ridge Palace again, Aidi Jalawa couldn't help but glance over, wondering whether Ghost Ridge Palace truly meant to do good or intended to use them for cultivating demon techniques. Not delving further, having already chartered an entire large merchant ship last night, they quickly boarded smoothly. Master Qin, why not join us for the journey? Rooms have been prepared. Aidi Jalawa didn't immediately enter the cabin but offered a distant bow to the sky. No need. Qin Yushang's figure floated down from the sky, standing on the bow of an official ship. As the hall master of the Heavenly Patrol Department, requisitioning an official ship was a simple matter of just saying a word. Without so much as a glance at Aidi Jalawa, Qin Yushang, with furrowed Lu Mei, looked at the merchant ship busily transporting refugees at the docks. The Great Li dynasty now faces incessant natural and man-made disasters, and many great provinces have refugees, only varying in numbers. Qingzhou, being a major grain-producing province of the Great Li dynasty, is understandably a place where refugees migrate to flee. However, if the Ghost Ridge Palace actively recruits them, the situation becomes different. The demonic path often employs cruel methods, using people to cultivate demon techniques. In Qin Yushang's view, these refugees entering Qingzhou will likely be like sheep entering a tiger's mouth. Follow that ship. Qin Yushang instructed the shipmaster behind her to watch the ship transporting the refugees. Yes. Moments later, with sails fluttering, the ship left the dock, heading south along the Luochuan River. After half a day's journey, the ship emerged from Jingzhou's territory, arriving within Qingzhou's river basin. Upon entering here, the number of visible ships increased. The Luochuan River was teeming with ships. Besides the common wooden merchant ships, there were also some large iron ships navigating the river. These iron ships had neither sails nor oars, seemingly propelled by a spiral iron frame at the stern that stirred the water, moving faster than the sail-powered wooden merchant ships. Meanwhile, along both sides of the river, expanses of rice fields stretched out, square plots of rice planted on the fertile lands. Some iron puppet vehicles worked on the fields, alongside numerous farmers laboring in the fields. This is a rare sight within the borders of the Great Li dynasty. In other great provinces, many fields lay fallow due to natural disasters and wars. Scenes of fertile lands stretching for miles, bountiful fields like a sea. Qin Yushang hadn't seen such a sight in a long time. Isn't Qingzhou supposed to be under demonic rule? Qin Yushang found the scene before her a bit incredible. She had heard of Qingzhou's demonic chaos and assumed that under Ghost Ridge Palace's rule, Qingzhou would be a place of darkness, with people living in fear, constantly at risk of becoming cultivation materials for the demon sect disciples. Yet here it seemed like a peaceful land where people lived in contentment, free from worries. As she observed, a bustling dock appeared ahead, where the ship carrying the refugees was heading. Huge steel machines were unloading goods on the dock, and far off, on a track laid on the ground, an iron vehicle several hundred meters long rumbled into the dock warehouse area. Occasionally, she could see massive iron vehicles soaring overhead, flying by relying on the air jets from within the vehicle. The refugee ship in Qin Yushang's focus had already docked. After the refugees disembarked, cultivators waiting specifically for them led them into houses, performing the little Qingfeng technique to cleanse the dirt and bacteria from their bodies. Then, appointed personnel broke them up and distributed them, arranging for them to recuperate nearby and restore their physical condition. Judging from the conversations of those in charge, it was easy to deduce that after a period of recuperation, usually about 10 days to half a month, these refugees would be assigned to farms or factories across Qingzhou to work, helping them restore production and livelihood. Disembark. As the sky gradually darkened, many ships decided to dock and rest at the harbor, including Qin Yushang and Aidi Jelua. Qin Yushang disembarked and walked to the city behind the dock, where she witnessed a scene. Some citizens lined up orderly for blood extraction, and after completing the blood donation, each person could receive rewards like grain, oil, rice, and flour. Strolling along, she observed factories scattered across the city outskirts, filled with citizens working diligently to produce various mechanical components. As darkness fell, street lights on both sides of the city streets came alight, dispelling the darkness over the city. Shops along the street hung colorful signs, displaying some iron boxes that played enchanting music, enthusiastically attracting business and drawing in customers. Many citizens, finishing their hectic day's work, gathered towards a particular place, arriving at an open area. In the open area, a giant screen was set up, playing a mirage-like image that seemed to be narrating some story about ghosts. The realistic visuals elicited bursts of exclamations from the crowd. Many citizens, though startled, with their shoulders hunched and necks retracted, were reluctant to avert their eyes, caught between fear and excitement. What truly caught Qin Yushang's attention were some boxes arranged to absorb the fear-induced breaths around the open area. where the fear emotions generated by the audience's viewing continuously streamed into these boxes. From the locals, Qin Yushang learned that this was called a movie, arranged by Ghost Ridge Palace for free viewing by the citizens. Is Qingzhou truly under demonic rule? Qin Yushang began to doubt in her heart that everything she witnessed in Qingzhou was 10 times better than what she had seen in other parts of the Great Li dynasty. The people here lived in peace and prosperity, though she had indeed noticed situations involving blood extraction and the absorption of fear emotions. It seemed clear that Ghost Ridge Palace wasn't draining the resources dry. The people here also accepted this ruling order. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, Qin Yushang wouldn't have believed that a place under demonic rule could be more prosperous and developed than other great provinces. Such stark contrast even made Qin Yushang cannot help but ponder, compared to Ghost Ridge Palace, who indeed is the righteous path, and who is truly the demonic path. 2 days later, Adi Jelua and some people witnessed the prosperity of Qingzhou along the Luochuan River and finally arrived within the borders of Chongzhou. Before the rise of Ghost Ridge Palace, Chongzhou was the most prosperous province of the Demon Path in the Deli dynasty. Here, the Demon Path was the dominant force, while the righteous sect was oppressed and struggling to survive. Several dozen demon sects of various sizes divided this large province. As the ships entered Chongzhou from Qingzhou, what they saw was that many places were sparsely populated, with diminishing population, barren lands, and conflict and violence everywhere. The so-called big cities of Chongzhou were worlds apart when compared to the bustling liveliness of Qingzhou, entirely incomparable. This was due to the numerous demon path sects in Chongzhou. These sects, while sometimes cooperating, also competed with each other, and they would also seize the population of rival demon sect for cultivating demon technique. In such places where massacres by devils frequently erupted, it was naturally impossible for the people to live and work in peace, and poverty and suffering were the norm, living day by day, sometimes being killed in the blink of an eye by a demon cultivator for cultivation. Qin Yushang stood on the deck, watching the withered and desolate villages along the shore, and lightly opened her red lips. Indeed, this is the demon path I remember. Qingzhou was too strange. She couldn't forget what she saw in Qingzhou. The current site of Chongzhou fit her impression of demon cultivators. On the ship next door, Adi Jelua and many monks disembarked. They arrived in the village and knocked on the doors of the local people. The door opened, and a dark-skinned, seemingly honest farmer was startled. "Master, we are monks from the western regions, training here. Seeing every household in such a state with so many gravestones, I would like to ask which demon path sect is harming you. We are willing to sacrifice ourselves to be your advocate, to exorcise demons and uphold justice, hoping for a world free from suffering." Adi Jelua wore a gentle smile, his tone carrying a certain allure. "Holy monk who saves and helps people, please help us. It's the 10,000 Snake sect. They've started tormenting us again recently. My child, our heir Guzi, was forcibly taken by them, using my child as a snake embryo." The farmer knelt on the ground, crying and wailing, which was quite unusual, because logically speaking, living under the fear of demon cultivation for years, these people shouldn't let their guard down so easily, nor dare to complain randomly, fearing retribution from the demon cultivators. In just a few words, Adi Jelua extracted information about the 10,000 Snake sect from the farmer. "Amitabha Buddha, don't worry, master. As long as you sincerely believe in Buddha in the future, we will uphold justice for you." Adi Jelua's words filled the farmer with gratitude, who kept kowtowing on the ground. Using Fanteon demon sound to beguile, "What are you planning?" Qin Yushang appeared behind the farmer, pointing down, and the farmer seemed to regain his senses slowly, realizing what he had just said, and exclaimed, No, I was just talking nonsense just now. Esteemed monks, please don't go after those 10,000 Snake sect demon cultivators. You will die, and my whole family will be killed by those demon cultivators." "Amitabha Buddha, Master Qin, your words leave me perplexed. The poor monk has come to the Deli dynasty to promote Mahayana Buddhism. With the people suffering everywhere, hungry corpses scattered, my Buddha is compassionate and also has a wrathful aspect. This is a benevolent act in line with the Buddha path. We are here to help eradicate the demon path. Master Qin should support us instead. Edi Jalua folded his hands, wearing an expression of compassion, and said to the monks behind him, "All monks, heed my command. The great demon in Chongzhou causes chaos in the world. Although we are from the western regions, our Buddha is compassionate, saving all beings, and will not abandon any believers. Follow me to the 10,000 Snake sect to remove this cancer." "Yes, holy monk." All the monks folded their hands, following Edi Jalua with determined expressions. Qin Yushang frowned. Edi Jalua targeted the demon sect. Judging by the style of the 10,000 Snake sect, they deserved their fate. She had no reason to stop them. 3 hours later, Edi Jalua arrived at the mountain gate of the 10,000 Snake sect. It was a sunken valley, with numerous caves below housing countless colorful venomous snakes coiled within. Around the valley stood tall stone house towers where thousands of demon cultivator disciples of the 10,000 Snake sect cultivated and lived. Great Sun Vajra Fist. Without any formalities, Edi Jalua, clad in a moon-white robe, rode on a dragon elephant, recited the Buddha's voice, and his eyes shifted from gentle and benevolent to cold as ice, as if he were a high-up Buddha overlooking the masses, delivering a punch from afar. A mountain-like golden fist crashed down, with terrifying shockwaves sweeping in all directions, uprooting trees and pulverizing massive rocks. Bang! The mountain protection array flickered a few times and then shattered like ceramic. The immense power penetrated into the formation of the 10,000 Snake sect, causing a large number of disciples to be torn apart, with flesh and internal organs covering the ground. Who dares to cause trouble at our 10,000 Snake sect? An outside enemy has invaded. Quickly strike to repel the enemy. Seems like a group of bald donkeys. Where did they come from? The sudden attack threw the entire 10,000 Snake sect into chaos. Seeing the mountain protection array obliterated, many were stunned. Destroying the mountain protection array with a single punch, what terrifying power this was. Qin Yushang's gaze locked onto Edi Jalua's left hand, where 18 deep brown prayer beads made from Bodhi seeds were wrapped around his wrist. She murmured, "Something from the holy Bodhi tree, a grand gesture." She recognized the origin of these beads. In the western regions, there is a famous innate spiritual object known as the holy Bodhi tree, a treasure of esoteric Buddhism. This holy Bodhi tree bears fruit once every 20 years, yielding only 3 Bodhi seeds each time. Each Bodhi seed possesses the powerful force to purify the heart demon and suppress boundaries. The power and value of a prayer bead formed from 18 Bodhi seeds surpass that of a mid-grade spiritual treasure. Combined with Edi Jalua's 7th realm of Taoist platform cultivation, it is incredibly terrifying, capable of breaking any ordinary mountain protection array in an instant. I don't know what offense our 10,000 Snake sect has caused the High Monk. Please have mercy. A somber-faced man flew through the sky. He was the Wanshi sect master, possessing a 4th-layer heaven cultivation in the secret realm. Unlike the other disciples, upon seeing Edi Jalua, he felt an overwhelming pressure as if from a mountain, far exceeding his own strength. This humble monk hails from the Western secret sect of Buddhism, walking the world to eradicate the evils of the demon sect harming the world and saving all beings from suffering. Edi Jalua held a golden bowl with his right hand, his expression indifferent. With each word he spoke, a vast Buddha's voice emanated in resonance from the palm of the golden bowl. Above the 10,000 Snake sect's array, countless dazzling Sanskrit characters filled the air, falling more densely than a torrential rain, sending chills down one's spine. This golden bowl was evidently a low-grade spirit treasure named the Demon-Subduing Golden Bowl, a specialized weapon for demon suppression and devil vanquishing, inscribed with countless secret Sanskrit incantations for vanquishing demons. Upon impact, it could emit a Buddha's voice seizing the hearts of demons, causing all demons to avoid it, the group of demons to bow, yielding an effect equivalent to a 200% attack on demons and specters. Moreover, the moon-white kasaya worn by Edi Jalua was also a low-grade spirit treasure called the 7 Treasures Kasaya, offering formidable protection of an impervious sacred body like the sun. Holding the Bodhi beads, wearing the 7 Treasures Kasaya, with the demon-subduing golden bowl in hand, Aedi Jalua was indeed opulent beyond measure, making countless realm of Taoist platform powerhouses envious to death. Besides his lavish gear, Aedi Jalua's personal strength was equally terrifying. Having obtained the title of holy monk within the esoteric Buddhism sect, he naturally possessed extraordinary qualities, with a status only beneath the three great divine monks of the esoteric Buddhism, hailed as the successor of the next divine monk. The Wanshi sect master locked eyes with the demon-subduing golden bowl, and his expression immediately turned into a struggle, until those golden Sanskrit seals from the sky fell and drilled into his body. His divine soul suddenly became dazed and confused. The disciples and elders of the 10,000 Snake sect below were even worse off. Hearing the vast Buddha's voice and Sanskrit mantras, they were pierced by those golden Sanskrit seals, and all became expressionless, prostrating on the ground, seemingly worshipping a true Buddha incarnate, their expressions indescribably devout. Demon suppressing and devil refining. Aedi Jalua tossed the demon-subduing golden bowl in his hand, which continually expanded, eventually reaching several hundred meters in size like a small mountain, exuding a horrifying suction force. Within the 10,000 Snake sect, whether an elder in the secret realm or a disciple in the Yunling realm, they were sucked into the air from the ground like a whale sucking water, all swallowed into the demon-subduing golden bowl, instantly refined into a pool of blood. Only the Wanshi sect master struggled for a few more seconds, but ultimately could not escape the soul control and suction of the demon-subduing golden bowl and was absorbed into the bowl, becoming blood water. The entire 10,000 Snake sect was exterminated in a bloodbath under the might of Aedi Jalua, a formidable powerhouse in the Taoist platform realm. The strength disparity was too great. The 10,000 Snake sect was merely one of Chongzhou's common demon sects, with the strongest being merely at the fourth layer heaven cultivation of the secret realm, completely powerless against Aedi Jalua. After the brief battle concluded, the golden bowl gradually shrank and returned to Aedi Jalua's hand. Aedi Jalua stood unfazed and unperturbed, as such a level of battle did not even count as a warm-up for him. Amitabha Buddha, in the next life, please become a good person with a heart inclined towards goodness. Looking at the wiped-out 10,000 Snake sect, Aedi Jalua began to chant the rebirth mantra, to expiate the resentment of the deceased, guiding them into the underworld. Outside the 10,000 Snake sect, Qin Yushang watched Aedi Jalua's actions. This guy chanted the rebirth mantra after killing people, which was somewhat speechless. Anyway, the 10,000 Snake sect's obliterated sect would certainly not express gratitude towards Aedi Jalua for this. Let's go. We shall continue to spread the Buddhist law and save the people from their plight. After chanting the rebirth mantra, Aedi Jalua's face showed a barely perceptible flush as the spiritual power within him was further purified. Even the purple mansion 3 inches within his brow grew brighter, with the primordial spirit clad in a thin layer of armor, resembling the demeanor of a young god. His purpose in coming to subdue demons and eradicate evil was not out of compassion as spoken, but because he cultivated a special cultivation technique, the Buddha hell-suppressing scripture, specifically prepared for the Dali dynasty. This technique could gain merit destiny by eliminating demons and devils. The more bloodthirsty and laden with guilt the individual, the more merit destiny and spiritual nature he gains after eliminating them, substantially amplifying his spiritual power's transformation. That's why he came to Chongzhou. He needed the group of demons there to break through the final boundary and ascend to the Purple Mansion realm. However, the Buddha hell-suppressing scripture also had a side effect, in that the merit destiny it seized was essentially a type of dragon vein national fortune, and humans also belonged to a part of the dynasty's karma. Once seized, it would be gone forever. At the same time, the resentment from kill devils would feed back into the depths of the earth, not only gradually leading to the drying up of the local spirit vein but also causing a decline in national fortune and the dragon vein. The Wei royal family of the Dali dynasty specifically cultivated the dragon-suppressing heavenly net divine scripture, the royal family's invincible national skill created by the dynasty's founding emperor in the Hollow Realm. It relied on the dragon vein and the dynasty's karma for cultivation, overbearing and peerless. The founding emperor once intimidated all the heroes under heaven with it. Weakening the dragon vein and the dynasty's fortune meant reducing the power the Delhi royal family could draw from the dragon vein and dynasty's fortune, easing future pressure for the esoteric Buddhism's entry into the Delhi dynasty. Half a month later, the Luo Chuan River, a rapidly flowing river that never stops, with lush greenery on both banks. Yet few people cultivate the fertile land here. This is because it is Chongzhou where the demon path is most prosperous, and also the most heavily plagued by chaos. Not only do the common people here live difficult lives, but even trade and commerce are far inferior to other large states, let alone compared to Qingzhou. A merchant ship sails on the Luo Chuan River with a large flag fluttering above, bearing a large golden character and the family crest, indicating they are a caravan of the Jin family from Incity, belonging to a cultivation family, a local aristocratic family. They trade with both the righteous and the demon paths, dealing in both worlds. The various demon sects in Chongzhou also require external resource inputs, and most do not obstruct these caravans. Of course, there are occasional robberies and massacres targeting caravans. Not every demon cultivator has restraint, and the territories of each demon sect are different. Committing murder and theft on another's turf while framing others is something many demon cultivators enjoy doing. Therefore, caravans entering Chongzhou take huge risks. Those who can hire some loose cultivators along with the strength of cultivators trained by their families to increase their security. On the merchant ship of the Jin family, there is such a group of hired loose cultivators. Hey, have you heard? Something big happened in Chongzhou recently. On the deck, a dozen loose cultivators are enjoying the scenery of the Luo Chuan River while chatting with each other. What's the matter, Old Wang? Don't keep us in suspense. Tell us. Old Wang, you've been hanging around the Chongzhou border for years. Your information is well informed. Don't keep the excitement to yourself. Exactly, we'll treat you to a drink later, how's that? Good wine brewed with spirit rice. Guaranteed no dilution. A group of loose cultivators coaxed, having nothing better to do. They loved to hear some gossip. Only one figure leaning on the railing of the ship appeared indifferent. The one referred to as Old Wang is an elderly man with thick black hair but a white beard, looking quite aged. Enjoying the attention with a self-satisfied smile, he coughed twice before slowly speaking. Hee, it's a long story, but since everyone wants to hear it, I'll tell you all about it. About half a month ago, the Chongzhou demon path suffered unprecedented intensity. A group from the western region's esoteric Buddhism, under the banner of saving all beings, promoting Buddhist law, and healing the world, slaughtered the demon sect in Chongzhou, causing rivers of blood. Especially their leader, a holy monk named Aidi Jalua, who holds a Taoist platform realm 7th stage cultivation, claiming to be invincible at the same level. Many renowned demon path experts either died under his Buddhist law or fled in disgrace. In just half a month, over a dozen demon sects have been removed from Chongzhou. It is said that the demon path in Chongzhou has now united, forming a grand demon path coalition, determined to eliminate Aidi Jalua and his group. Old Wang narrated with spittle flying, telling the recent major events of Chongzhou. What? High monks from the western regions coming to Chongzhou to eliminate demons. Coming such a long way, what are they after? Are those bald donkeys that strong? Destroying over a dozen sects. Absolutely terrifying. There are so many powerful people in the Chongzhou demon path, and they couldn't handle that monk Aidi Jalua? The loose cultivators on the deck exclaimed in surprise. The notorious reputation of the Chongzhou demon path was well known, even suppressing the righteous sects, yet a group of monks from the western regions turned the tables on them. It sounded rather unbelievable. I heard Aidi Jalua comes from a major background. He is a holy monk of the Western secret sect Buddhism. Do you understand what a holy monk is? Equivalent to a purple mansion realm reserve, with unbelievable strength, especially his Buddhist law, greatly suppressing demon cultivators, making their legs weak upon seeing him. Old Wang, walking like a proud peacock, showed off his well-informed nature and commented, I say, it's not just the devils of Chongzhou who are no match. Even if Qingzhou's most powerful devil, blood demon ancestor, came, he probably wouldn't fare well against Aidi Jalua. However, Old Wang's words immediately provoked many objections. Impossible, blood demon ancestor Su Jie. Who is he? Even Guanchao Pavilion was wiped out by him single-handedly. How could Aedi Jalua compare to him? Exactly. The righteous sects in Qingzhou are so suppressed that they don't dare to raise their heads. Without absolute strength, how could the righteous sects in Qingzhou be so obedient? I think it might be 50-50. After all, Aedi Jalua's Buddhist law suppresses demon cultivators, so their strength is not at its full potential, which makes it hard to say who would win. This debate heated up the atmosphere. Many of them had visited Qingzhou and heard of Su Jie's illustrious name, leading Ghost Ridge Palace from obscurity to become the strongest hegemonic force in Qingzhou. His personal charisma attracted some loose cultivators, even if Su Jie was a great demon. Haha, who knows until they fight? Perhaps after dealing with Chongzhou, Aedi Jalua might head towards Qingzhou. Old Wang was chattering endlessly, proud to see everyone drawn in, until he noticed the middle-aged man leaning against the railing on the other side. The man had an ordinary height and appearance, and his cultivation didn't seem high. He appeared somewhat out of place, not joining the discussion. Brother Luo, what do you think? Who do you think would have the upper hand? Blood demon ancestor or Aedi Jalua? Old Wang took 2 steps forward, pretended to be familiar, and patted the man's shoulder. He knew the man was named Luo Yi, also a hired loose cultivator, though they hadn't communicated much lately, as the other seemed a bit aloof. I'll sit and watch. Disguised as Su Jie, he shrugged with a carefree expression. Su Jie had been stable in Qingzhou for 2 years, consolidating his cultivation after advancing to the Purple Mansion. Now with Qingzhou developing on the right track, Su Jie could focus his attention beyond Qingzhou. There were 2 main targets. One was Qing Province, where Su Jie had conflicts with Fire Cloud Palace and was coveting the red shining Immortal Palace. The other target was Chongzhou, where the Demon Path flourished. Being a mogul of the Demon Path under the Deli dynasty, Su Jie naturally wanted to conquer Chongzhou, making the Deli dynasty's Demon Path only his voice. As for Jingzhou, also in the south, it was the weakest of the southern 4 states in terms of cultivator strength and was close to the Dali imperial city, not suitable as the first target. Originally, Su Jie was torn between starting with Qing Province or Chongzhou. Then he heard news from Chongzhou that the esoteric Buddhism from the western regions was coming to Chongzhou to uphold justice and eliminate demons. Su Jie immediately had an idea, starting with Chongzhou and taking the chance to meet the so-called esoteric Buddhism. Thus, after disguising himself, Su Jie concealed his identity and blended into a merchant caravan heading to himself. His face was too famous now. Without disguise, he would become known by all before leaving Qingzhou. Scaring away people would be bad. Brother Luo, you're no fun. Old Wan took a setback from Su Jie, pouted, and turned away in dejection. Su Jie held a smile at his lips, looked at the horizon, and muttered, Aedi Jalua, interesting. As the merchant ship entered Chongzhou territory, Su Jie patted his backside and murmured, So you eliminate demons and uphold the way? Huh? Then I, Su Jie, will come and meet you Western region monks. As Su Jie spoke, he moved his feet, and the whole person disappeared from the merchant ship. By the time the Jin family's caravan noticed Su Jie's disappearance, there was a commotion, but Su Jie had already ventured into Chongzhou. Desire Sect's Cuian Pond. Here lies the mountain gate of the Desire Sect. But now, not only Desire Sect gathered here, but also demon sect strengths from all over Chongzhou, Blood Demon Cave, Golden Brilliance Sect, Skywolf Village, Illusion Tower, Shadow Netherworld, Lihua Association, Evil Valley, Lotus Palace, Eagle Poison Hall, Whitebone Tower, Nine Dragons Hall. All sorts of Chongzhou's demon sect experts were here, numbering more than 10,000, gathering most of Chongzhou's experts. Because according to Aedi Jalua's planned route, the greatest possibility was heading towards Desire Sect. Chongzhou had suffered great losses at Aedi Jalua's hands these past half-months, forcing them to unite, intending to capture Aedi Jalua and eliminate him once more, not giving him the chance to defeat them one by one, showing Aedi Jalua's formidable strength, making Chongzhou's group of demons vigilant. No movement yet? A soft, silky voice arose from a beautiful woman clad in sheer garb, her snowy white skin barely visible, alluring eyes crossed. She was the sect master of Desire Sect, Een Lay Bai. Could it be he knows we're here? Edi Jalawa dares not come. That damned little bald donkey. When I catch him, I'll make his life worse than death. Don't let your guard down. Beware of him suddenly showing up and attacking. A group of demon sect leaders from Chongzhou, some angrily glaring, some calm, others filled with murderous intent. Regarding Edi Jalawa, the person disrupting Chongzhou's balance, regardless of their unwillingness to admit, they knew this enemy was absolutely terrifying. Not only were demon sect leaders tightly on guard, but other demon cultivators who came were also scattered, alerting Edi Jalawa's appearance. Besides these demon disciples, at the more peripheral locations, loose cultivators quietly observed. These loose cultivators were either aristocratic family spies, gathering intel on the war possibly altering Chongzhou's landscape, or simply wanting to fish in troubled waters. On the brutal battlefield, if they could loot corpses, for some cash-strapped loose cultivators, a night of becoming rich, or even getting some cultivation inheritance, altering their fate was not impossible, thus attracting no few crafty loose cultivators willing to risk danger to come. White Rock Town, 100 miles from Desire Sect's Mountain Gate, now held some loose cultivators. They didn't all originate from Chongzhou, but also hailed from other states within the Deli dynasty. Drawn by news coming to seek fortunes, try their luck as small loose cultivators. In White Rock Town's tallest tavern, loose cultivators gathered, peering out the window at Desire Sect's direction, their moods inevitably marked by impatience and excitement. Do you think they will really fight? Hard to say. If I were Edi Jalawa, I definitely wouldn't knowingly enter a trap. That's why you can't be Edi Jalawa. He's a Western region's monk, compassionate in saving the world, creating salvation for all. How could he retreat due to difficulty? Humph, I just don't believe Edi Jalawa is genuinely selfless. Who knows what sinister motives these monks from the outer regions harbor? The crowd was noisy. Only one area in the tavern was relatively quiet. At the windowside table sat a woman in a white dress with a purple waistband, her face veiled, the mask underlaid with silver thread faintly showed jade-like skin. The woman had been here for a while. She leaned against the carved windowsill on the tavern's 5th level, drinking alone. Each time the veil lifted while drinking, the fleeting half-beauty could stir many loose cultivators' throats. Clumsy cup clatter ensued. Many didn't dare meet her gaze. Only because sitting there, she exuded an invisible aura of authority, causing the tavern to fill up completely. Not many loose cultivators had a place to sit, nor dared sit beside her. Qin Yushang's expression under the veil was devoid of emotion. Her thoughts focused entirely on Desire Sect. Her divine sense allowed her to perceive events happening over 100 miles away. Suddenly, the sound of moving chairs reached her ear, causing Qin Yushang to slightly turn her head. An unremarkable-looking middle-aged man boldly seated himself next to her. "Young lady, excuse me, let's share a table." Su Jie smiled, showing his white teeth when Qin Yushang looked over, his demeanor calm, without the tension of an ordinary loose cultivator. Qin Yushang glanced at Su Jie, returned her gaze, not sensing much speciality from Su Jie. Su Jie's true identity was a great power in the Purple Mansion realm. Qin Yushang was a full realm lower, making it hard to discern Su Jie's identity easily. Conversely, Su Jie observed Qin Yushang with interest, her long black hair shaped into arc-like frost blades in the breeze. Her deep phoenix eyes radiated cold jade-like luster. Sword-shaped brows flew into her temples. Not only was her appearance outstanding, others couldn't perceive it, but Su Jie could notice Qin Yushang's spiritual power was like a dormant volcano. Under the snowy skin emerged blue pulses, with circulation spiritual power faintly centered around her, obeying her command. A pinnacle Taoist platform realm practitioner. Su Jie pondered, such a strong practitioner in the Dili dynasty was rare, despite the Taoist platform realm being common, with states having 10 to 20 of them or 7 or 8 as few. Those reaching the 7th realm were exceptionally scarce. For example, in Qingzhou before Su Jie rose, Only Guanchao Pavilion's great elder Dong Yu was at this level. Likewise, Qing Province had only 10,000 Sword Alliance's sect master Li Yuza and Fire Cloud Hall sect master Chu Yengang. This realm of cultivators stood atop the Taoist platform, possessing slight possibilities of breakthroughs to the Purple Mansion realm, having exceptional status and level, barely appearing in the public view. Keep looking. Don't blame me for not being polite. Feeling uncomfortable under Su Jie's gaze, Qin Yushang seemed transparent before Su Jie, causing her sword-shaped brows to stand upright, letting out a cold snort. Su Jie chuckled, leaning back into the chair. It's certainly nice, but I feel you're about to eat me. Qin Yushang's expression was indifferent under the veil and said, Watch, and I'll dig out your eyes. Beautiful things are meant to be admired. It's only natural to take a few more glances when a young lass looks so exquisite. If you truly don't want it, why not switch places? From here, you can enjoy the scenery outside. If a fight breaks out later, this spot is prime for observing. Su Jie maintained his persona, stroking his chin, letting out a raspy chuckle. Qin Yushang's eyes turned icy, her jade fingers curved, touching a droplet from the wine cup before flicking it. The wine condensed into a bead, as bright as a pearl, due to the spiritual power being highly compressed, transforming what seemed like gentle spring water into a weapon that could pierce hard stones. Whiz! A few drops of wine shot towards Su Jie's shoulder. Qin Yushang intended to teach him a lesson without aiming to kill. The lass has such a fiery temper. This old man can't handle it. Almost simultaneously, Su Jie lightly tapped the teacup. Bang! The tea inside surged up, forming a crystal-clear water curtain barrier. The wine droplets collided with it, instantly dissolving into the water curtain, neutralizing the attack. Qin Yushang's phoenix eyes squinted slightly, looking at Su Jie with surprise. Though her technique wasn't profoundly high, any secret realm cultivator could execute it without using the Taoist platform realm's power. Still, for Su Jie to block so effortlessly was beyond her expectations. Secret realm, you're not a loose cultivator, are you? What's your identity? Qin Yushang slowly spoke. Loose cultivators are generally those with low talent, unable to join cultivation sects. They lack resources and talent, mostly stuck at the second and third level of Yunling realm, and many die without advancing beyond the first level of Yunling realm. However, a strong cultivator at the secret realm level is a core force in any sect. For weaker sects, the sect master usually possesses secret realm level power. If a loose cultivator can reach the secret realm on their own, their talent would be unmatched, unless indeed blessed by extraordinary fortune. It's akin to comparing science talents joining prestigious universities with those unable to pass college entrance exams. Self-taught by the public, magnifying the disparity tenfold. Yet, miracles are exceedingly rare examples. In the Dali dynasty, loose cultivators reaching the secret realm exist, though only a few, each being an unpredictable triumph in life, renowned throughout Delhi. Qin Yushang hadn't heard of any loose cultivator named Su Jie, leading her to suspect Su Jie's identity was fabricated. Isn't the lass also at the secret realm? If you can be a loose cultivator, this old man surely can too. Su Jie shrugged, realizing the opponent hadn't noticed his revealed power and instead speculated on Su Jie's identity. Humph! Qin Yushang snorted coldly, knowing she wouldn't get answers from Su Jie. This old man stands upright, fearing no shadows, unlike the lass, who masks herself and dares not show her true face. Your hidden identity is overly conspicuous. Speaking of which, isn't this young lady here for the Buddha and demon struggle, seeking fortune? Su Jie crossed his legs, smiling as he commented. An absolute powerhouse in the Taoist platform realm, her presence here was definitely not for sightseeing, especially at this time. It's none of your concern. Qin Yushang looked displeased, feeling the other side was becoming presumptuous. The conversation halted between them, as commotion appeared in the sky. Above the vast clouds, patches of white clouds turned golden. A magnificent, solemn Buddha light. Boundless sea of sorrow. From the void came a transcendent Buddha's voice. A colossal Buddha sat proudly amid the golden clouds, flanked by 18 gold-plated arhats. arrayed in a formation garnering everyone's attention. 18 gold-plated arhats, each arhat had a few monks standing on their shoulders or heads. They were monks from the Western region's esoteric sect. Each one's cultivation was at least at secret realm level, with 2 Taoist platform realm monks present. And within the 100-foot-tall Buddha's palm, Aidi Jalua sat barefoot on a dragon elephant, wearing a moon-white robe, clutching Bodhi beads with the left hand, holding the demon-subduing golden bowl with the right, donned in the 7 treasures kasaya, looking towards the Wanyu sect mountain gate. Amitabha, today I, Aidi Jalua, have long heard of the people of Chongzhou suffering under the demon path. My Buddha is merciful, unable to endure the world's suffering from this demon plague. So I come here to slay demons and restore a clear sky in Qingzhou, for the benefit of all living beings. Aidi Jalua folded his hands. A vast Buddha's voice, like a bell ringing, resounded throughout the 100-mile region, entering everyone's ears. It's here. Qin Yushang gazed at the sky dome. Perhaps this was Aidi Jalua's first true demonstration of his cultivation. Su Jie cast his gaze over and saw the true face of Aidi Jalua, chuckling softly. Quite impressive indeed. In the Desire sect, over 10,000 Chongzhou demon cultivators were utterly horrified. Just hearing Aidi Jalua's Buddha's voice made many demon cultivators feel inexplicably affected, their spiritual power flow becoming sluggish. The sect master of the Desire sect, Yin Lei Bai, felt the invisible suppression of the Buddha's voice, coquettishly saying, "Little monk, what demons have you slain? What devils have you vanquished? Clearly Chongzhou here is a paradise on earth. Why don't you experience it for yourself? Things may not be as they seem." Her voice was like a seductive melody, employing the Desire sect's most powerful skill, illusion desire technique. The Desire sect is not skilled in direct confrontation, but they excel at bewildering the mind and illusion techniques. Especially with Yin Lei Bai being a powerhouse of the 6th level of Taoist platform, her ability in confusing the mind was exceptionally strong. In the Sky Dome, the Western region's monks standing on the backs and shoulders of the gold-plated arhats, under Yin Lei Bai's illusion desire technique, had their hearts ignited with flames of desire, as if surrounded by countless charming women, showing infatuated smiles and bewildered eyes. Even 2 monks of the 2nd level and 3rd level of Taoist platform had dazed and struggled eyes. Go! Wipe out these Western region baldies. Dare to rampage in our Chongzhou. Do you really think Chongzhou has no demons? Today, we'll use your Buddha hearts as appetizers. Haha! Let's all go up together and leave them all here. Numerous demon path experts moved simultaneously. They had long planned the battle strategy, with Yin Lei Bai first using illusion techniques to control the enemy. Then everyone else would swarm in. The demon path doesn't care about numbers. Securing victory is the real skill. Amitabha Buddha, just alluring bones, awaken. Aidi Jalua was completely unaffected, merely chanting the Buddha's voice like a bell, echoing endlessly in the void. He himself was familiar with the Buddha's voice, also proficient in the Guhua skill, and with the Bodhi beads from the holy Bodhi tree on his left hand. Calming the mind and banishing heart demons were just basic abilities. Yin Lei Bai's illusion techniques were too elementary for him. Under the Buddha's voice, those Western region's monks were snapped out of their illusions as if struck by a thunderbolt. And at this moment, Chongzhou's group of demons had already killed their way close. The blood sea is boundless. Forever drown in it. The sect master of Blood Demon Cave, Jiang Jin at the 5th level of Taoist platform, sneered, a crimson blood sea surging from him. Scarlet blood gathered into rivers, like blood-red chains, entwining towards Aidi Jalua and the monks, aiming to slaughter and annihilate them. His blood sea devouring sky demon skill had reached the 6th realm level. Any cultivator of the same level caught in it would meet either death or injury. A Taoist platform-level expert from the Li Hua Association, wielding a top-grade magic treasure, the Netherworld Fire Bone Banner, swung it, emitting ghostly blue flames that obscured the sky, accompanied by wails and howls, burning everything to white ash in its path. Hidden realm elders from the White Bone Tower formed a 12 true demons slaying immortal formation together. And as the formation was completed, 12 fierce demon phantoms soared, brandishing claws and fangs, unleashing fearsome might. Experts from the Eagle Poison Hall released invisible and colorless deadly poison, silently spreading. Once poisoned, even a Taoist platform expert would become weak and powerless, or even die on the spot. 1,000 layers of attacks rained down, with over 10 Taoist platform-level experts, and over 100 secret realm elders, and 10,000 disciples. Their various attacks made the void boil. Buddha light illuminates. Edi Jalua clasped his hands together, not only invoking heavenly might, but also fully activating the Bodhi beads on his left hand, causing them to shine brightly, filling the sky with Buddha light illuminating the world. The blood sea evaporated, the netherworld fire extinguished, fierce demons prostrated. The Buddha light seemed to purge all filth from the human world. The powerful suppression made the demon cultivators present suffer greatly. The Buddha light was too oppressive for them. Their cultivation could only exert 6 or 7/10 of its power. Many Yunling realm disciples were exposed to the Buddha light, and their flesh melted like candles, directly dissolving into a pile of decayed bones. Their participation in this level of battle was far too forced, not even worthy of being cannon fodder. Casualties were heavy from just the aftershocks of the battle. Truly effective resistance still relied on Taoist platform experts. Even secret realm elders were unqualified. Amit Ba Buddha. A few grim smiles appeared on Edi Jalua's face as he hurled a punch. The Bodhi beads on his left hand moved with his swing. The 100-meter-tall Buddha behind him mirrored the action, striking with the same punch. A Taoist platform second-level expert from the White Bone Tower's expression changed dramatically, immediately being blasted midair, blood scattering like rain, unable to withstand the blow. The might of a single punch actually directly annihilated a Taoist platform-level expert. The scene fell into a momentary silence. The next moment, more demons bared their bloodthirsty eyes. They did not believe Edi Jalua could withstand so many of them. Edi Jalua had neither 3 heads nor 6 arms. Even if he did, they believed one spit from each of them would drown him. Palm Buddha country. Edi Jalua adopted a solemn expression. He threw out the demon-subduing golden bowl in his right hand. This low-grade spiritual treasure expanded to hundreds of meters in size. Inside appeared to have countless Buddhas, Arhats, and Bodhisattvas sitting in meditation, chanting Buddha's voice in torrents, emanating terrifying suction. Many demon cultivators didn't have time to react and were swept into the golden bowl, instantly refined into blood water. Edi Jalua was displaying great ferocity, his fists crashing down like mountains, with the innate spiritual object, the Bodhi beads, boosting him. His power surged, playing out capabilities far beyond a mid-grade spiritual treasure. In contrast, those Chongzhou demon cultivators suffered Buddha light suppression, finding it difficult to wield their strength. With one increasing and the other decreasing, coupled with the demon-subduing golden bowl controlling the scene, and the 7 treasures Kasaya protecting himself, Edi Jalua at this moment appeared to be evenly matched with numerous Taoist platform demons. But this was only temporary. While Edi Jalua could fight, the monks who came with him were suffering. They were besieged by Chongzhou's group of demons, continuously reducing in number and being slaughtered, cries of despair filling the air. The clouds shattered, ripples spread across the void, magical treasures, and talismans intertwined across the sky, and the aftermath of the battle transmitted to the ground, causing the earth to be shattered. The Buddha and demon factions fought from the sky to the ground, then from the ground back to the sky. The intensity of the battle was such that heavenly might seemed like a prison, altering the terrain within a 100-mile radius. Everywhere were collapsed mountains, gorges created by sword strikes, and underground rivers caused by magic blasts, forming artificial lakes. In White Rock Town, the place was affected by the battle's aftermath, with earthquakes occurring continuously. Many loose cultivators were so frightened that their thoughts of scavenging were completely extinguished. The battle was of such magnitude that they couldn't even get close enough to touch the corpses. Even being thousands of meters away would cause them to be violently killed. Boom! Suddenly, the sky darkened over White Rock Town as dozens of meteorites made of lava fell from high above, sparking the battle's aftermath, which was unavoidable. Not even White Rock Town was spared. The dozens of meteorites were fragments of a lava volcano that had been struck. Once they fell, there would be hardly any survivors in White Rock Town. The loose cultivators trembled all over, watching this scene with despair. Their cultivation could do nothing in the face of these meteorites made of lava. All loose cultivators were escaping. Some townspeople of White Rock Town watched the immortals clash in the heavens tens of thousands of meters away, then closed their eyes to await death. Loose cultivators could run, but ordinary people truly could not escape. Qin Yushang circulated her spiritual power within and was about to act when she heard a voice from next door. "If you're going to fight, at least aim properly." Su Jie waved his sleeve, and a flying sword emerged from his robe, piercing the clouds and sky, cutting and slicing the meteorites made of lava falling from the sky into chaotic fragments, freeing White Rock Town from impending destruction. All the people in White Rock Town felt as if they had taken a trip to Ghost Gate before returning. Many loose cultivators did not know who had saved them, but they no longer dared to stay and hurried to depart. The townsfolk of White Rock Town knelt and bowed in gratitude, thanking the god of the blue sky. "Magic treasure flying sword. You are indeed extraordinary." Seeing the magic treasure flying sword return to Su Jie's robe, Qin Yushang suddenly spoke. Many secret realm elders did not possess magic treasures, only using top-grade magical artifacts instead. Having a magic treasure indicated Su Jie's strength was not weak even among the secret realm. Qin Yushang did not know. Not only did Su Jie have magic treasures, but he also possessed a spirit treasure flying sword, a trophy seized from Liuza, sect master of the 10,000 Sword Alliance, a low-grade spirit treasure sky eagle sword. "I can't present this more, but this holy monk from the western regions has quite a few treasures." Su Jie relaxedly sipped tea, his gaze mostly fixed on Aidi Jalua, or more accurately, on Aidi Jalua's 7 treasures Kasaya, demon-subduing golden bowl, and Bodhi beads, lustrous equipment that made Su Jie covetous. Aidi Jalua is a candidate for divine monk in esoteric Buddhism, expected to advance to the Purple Mansion realm in the future, received the dedicated cultivation and protection from esoteric Buddhism. Naturally, various treasures are not spared. Qin Yushang, with phoenix eyes, watched the fierce battle in the sky while taking the time to answer Su Jie's words. "You seem to know a lot about esoteric Buddhism. What kind of system do they have?" Su Jie asked casually, not knowing much about the Western region's countries and esoteric Buddhism. Perhaps due to Su Jie's action in saving White Rock Town, Qin Yushang's attitude towards Su Jie improved. Under the veil, thin cherry lips slightly parted, Qin Yushang spoke. "The land of the Western regions is hot and arid, mostly stretches of sandy desert, with only a few places suitable for habitation. The Western regions, due to the cuts by sandy deserts and a few habitable oases, have formed a distribution of small, scattered countries, with the smallest having only a few cities and towns, yet daring to call themselves a country. And esoteric Buddhism is the national religion established collectively by the 16 Western countries. Their Buddhist sect is located on Lingjiu Mountain, possessing the innate spiritual object Sacred Bodhi Tree, Cave Heaven Treasure Realm, Spiritual Treasure Vajra Zen Stick, Fantion Tower, and other items. The Buddhist sect collectively respects 3 great divine monks, managing hundreds of Arhat monks and over 100,000 monks. It is the largest and also the only sect in the Western regions. They control all matters of the Western region's countries. Esoteric Buddhism mainly cultivates the Moafofa. This method includes traditional practices like chanting, sitting, and meditation. But if one wishes to truly deepen it and open what is called innate wisdom, it requires the gathering of all beings' wisdom, enabling every being to devoutly pray. Many Western regions people are brainwashed under the lure of the Fantion demon sound, losing their original selves, becoming the living dead, as their wisdom is borrowed by Moafofa, leaving only Buddha in their hearts, with family, kin, wealth, and even life treated as dirt, becoming tools for the disciples of esoteric Buddhism to cultivate. Qin Yushang slowly narrated about esoteric Buddhism as the White Tiger Hall master. She stationed in the west of the Dili dynasty, fully understood what kind of monster esoteric Buddhism truly was. It seemed on the surface a sect encouraging people to nurture goodness and venerate Buddha. Yet in reality, those brainwashed to believe in Buddha were no different from living dead. Their daily task was to go to temples and worship, providing faith and spiritual wisdom, and they generally did not live past 40, dying due to the lack of wisdom light. Sounds even more demonic than the demon path. Su Jie made a small exclamation, likewise absorbing the power of faith. Su Jie on Blue Star never engaged in such practices as esoteric Buddhism, which caused people to lose their selves and true selves, living without any distinction from being dead. Therefore, for esoteric Buddhism to come to our daily dynasty and preach the exquisite meanings of Buddhist law is definitely not well-intentioned. Qin Yushang's tone sharpened, not at all hiding her disdain for esoteric Buddhism. During their idle chat, the battle in the sky changed further. Under the siege of over 10 Dao platform realm cultivators from Chongzhou, though Yi Jialua was strong and possessed 3 treasures, Bodhi beads, demon-subduing golden bowl, and 7 treasures Kasaya, he could not withstand such a number of attackers, gradually falling into a disadvantage as time went on. This was greatly attributed to the Buddha light from Bodhi beads, which largely weakened the demon cultivator's strength. Otherwise, Yi Jialua could not have held on for so long. Bald donkey, prepare to die for me. The current sect hierarch of the Golden Brilliance sect gritted his teeth and took out a special treasure, a bead with a dark and ominous glow, about the size of a baby's fist, its surface shimmering with blood-colored streaks. Crack! This bead floated in the air, revealing the visage of Yi Jialua. Instantly, Yi Jialua's battle stance faltered as his soul essence was being pulled, drawn into the bead. This is called the Netherworld's soul-capturing pearl, a special innate spiritual treasure. Under the Taoist platform realm, primordial spirits can hardly resist it and will be sucked into the bead for refining. There's a tale of a purple mansion strongman refining a cultivator of the same realm with this item, truly strange and malevolent. If Yi Jialua hadn't pushed him to the limit, with several of his elders killed, he wouldn't have been willing to take out this netherworld soul-capturing pearl for fear of other devils coveting it. On the other side, the sect master of the 9 Dragons Hall took out the sect treasure, a low-grade spirit treasure, the Dragon Extinguishing Seal. As it was unleashed, 9 dragons soared together, their mighty roars shaking the skies. In Lei Bai, sect master of the Desire sect, also wielded the Lingshao 9 Curves bell. This low-grade spirit treasure, when swung, released a grand and vast chime, as if the Lingshao goddess was singing, causing the surrounding mountains to tremble and countless beasts to perish. At this juncture, the Chongzhou demon path had practically played all their cards, aiming to quickly resolve Yi Jialua. If the battle continued, too many secret realm elders would die, and the sect would be left without leaders. Yi Jialua's features contorted as his primordial spirit was torn and pulled by the netherworld's soul-capturing pearl, causing him immense pain, making his body difficult to control. The Lingshao 9 Curves bell tolled, the sound pouring into Yi Jialua's ears, causing black blood to ooze from his 7 orifices. Boom! 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 The Dragon Extinguishing Seal descended, the 9 flying dragons roaring in succession, blasting Yi Jialua from the sky to the ground. Seeing victory at hand, more 4th-level Taoist platform realm experts struck down with their attacks, mercilessly beating the fallen enemy. Poof! Yi Jialua spat out a mouthful of blood. Even with the Bodhi bead's support and the protection of the 7 treasures Kasaya, he was gravely injured. I didn't intend to use this move, but you seek death. Yi Jialua, seeing the group of demons approach, no longer maintained his earlier calm, instead becoming sinister and fearsome. He took out a relic and swallowed it whole. The relic was left by a certain divine monk after passing, blessed by the wisdom light of countless people day and night, sacrificing countless lives to imbue it with transcendent divine wisdom light. In an instant, Yi Jialua underwent a massive transformation, his head growing a flesh crest, gleaming golden, his ears extended, drooping. His gaze turned solemn and serene, imbued with compassion. A halo of wisdom rose atop his head, resembling a living Buddha. Yi Jialua slowly lifted his eyes, his primordial spirit constantly transforming, clad in a precious armor, leaping into the air, like a young god. The spiritual power within Yi Jialua surged explosively, reaching an unimaginably high level, the standard of a Purple Mansion realm strongman. Amitabha Buddha, how dare you demons wreak havoc in the world? Convert to my Buddha, swiftly. Edi Jalwa chanted in a voice that was eerily foreign, a result of ingesting the relic. The awakened innate wisdom within took over, with the wisdom, combat consciousness, and experience of the relic's owner guiding everything. Simply put, someone took over Edi Jalwa like a high-level account to fight. That's why Edi Jalwa dared to come to Chongzhou alone. After speaking, Edi Jalwa reached out with a palm. The palm kept growing, transforming into a gigantic hand covering the sky, overshadowing heaven and earth. 2 4th-layer Heaven Taoist platform realm experts trembled, wishing to resist, yet under the giant hand, they were like bubbles, their entire beings erased into void. The sect master of 9 Dragons Hall, wielding the dragon extinguishing seal, was ready to launch a sneak attack when Edi Jalwa glanced over. The yang god atop his head joined its hands, transforming into a grotesque dharma form with 2 horns, 6 feet, and 8 wings. Crunch! The void trembled. The sect master of 9 Dragons Hall screamed in agony, his body bitten by the dharma form, his upper body devoured, the lower body dropping to the ground. Even his primordial spirit was annihilated before escaping. The Buddhist law is boundless. Edi Jalwa smiled faintly, the Bodhi beads turning into 18 golden light Sanskrit seals, suppressing in all directions. The 4th-level Taoist platform realm demons either spewed blood or had their bones and tendons snapped, beaten into retreat. The nearby secret realm elders were no match, instantly killed, as if swatted like pests. The scene was astonishing, Edi Jalwa dominating the battlefield, leaving the Chongzhou demons with no means of counterattack. This is the power of the Purple Mansion realm. Enleibai's lips trembled, his body enveloped in chill, finally realizing the transformation within Edi Jalwa. Such a change was completely unexpected for everyone present. If the Chongzhou demon practitioners knew that Edi Jalwa could have combat power close to the Purple Mansion realm, they wouldn't dare to come and resist. They would have long scattered like birds and beasts, escaping to the deep mountains and wilderness islands. Faced with Edi Jalwa's combat prowess, comparable to the Purple Mansion realm level, every Chongzhou devil prepared to flee, planning to let others go fight for their lives while they looked for an opportunity to slip away. But with everyone having the same idea, the situation stalemated for a while. The demon practitioners stared at each other, not daring to step forward to fight, yet afraid of fleeing and becoming a target, getting killed with a single palm by Edi Jalwa. A bunch of demon spawn. I'll annihilate you all right here. Edi Jalwa's face was icy cold, her gaze dignified like an ancient Buddha, ready to take action again. At that moment, Edi Jalwa's body suddenly trembled violently, her delicate facial features twisting into a grimace. Amitabha Buddha. Dexian, what are you doing? Edi Jalwa let out a cold snort. Dexian was indeed Edi Jalwa's Buddhist name. His pupils dilated at this moment, as if he had fallen into some special state. Jing Hui Master, do you want to seize my physical body? In the next moment, Edi Jalwa's expression turned ferocious, roaring repeatedly. Jing Hui, a divine monk active in the esoteric Buddhism 300 years ago. What's going on here? In White Rock Town, Qin Yushang mumbled to herself. She was well-versed in esoteric Buddhism and had heard of the renowned name of the Jing Hui divine monk from centuries ago. Can't you see it yet? That Edi Jalwa swallowed the relic, and is being possessed by the old guy within it, who is indeed the Jing Hui you mentioned. Su Jie swiftly revealed the answer. He knew well the power of the Yang God and how it could survive for hundreds or even thousands of years in the world with no physical body, provided there was no external damage. This nirvana state of the Jing Hui divine monk was clearly a Purple Mansion realm passing, leaving behind a trace of Yang God remnant soul within the relic. When Edi Jalwa swallowed it, the Yang God residing in the relic chose to possess and attempt to take over Edi Jalwa's body to re-enter the mortal world. Edi Jalwa, having cultivated to the peak of the 7th realm of Taoist platform, had a body inherently talented enough, likely the reason the Jing Hui divine monk coveted it. By seizing this physical body and relying on his yang god and experience, it would take less than a year to truly become a Purple Mansion realm cultivator, rather than just temporarily depending on a yang god. Upon hearing Su Jie's words, Qin Yushang also realized the situation. Esoteric Buddhism really can't change its nature. They're even doing such things as seizing the bodies of their disciple geniuses. Qin Yushang didn't delve into why Su Jie knew so much, assuming his experience was vast and he had noticed the flaw. "Give me back my physical body." Yi Jialua grew increasingly furious, battling for control of his body with the remnant soul of Jing Hui's yang god within him. He hadn't expected when swallowing the relic that it was a poisonous pill wrapped in a pretty package. Though the crisis of Chongzhou's group of demons was lifted, he now faced the risk of having his body possessed. If Jing Hui succeeded, it was no different from death for him. Amitabha Buddha, as it is said, "If I don't go to hell, who will go to hell?" De Xian, why do you cling so strongly to an empty shell of a body? Allowing me to temporarily use this shell will best display my humble Buddhist powers, eliminating demons and defending the Tao, eradicating the group of demons. This little sacrifice is all for the promulgation of Buddhism. We must embrace the faith to save the world. De Xian, do you not see this? You are attached, De Xian. Yi Jialua's expression changed again, speaking, though it was the cold voice of the Jing Hui divine monk. "Nonsense. Speaking with righteous airs. Aren't you just coveting my body? This is destiny. The Buddha resides eternal in my heart. We've both sacrificed everything for Buddhism. What difference does it make whose body it is? Get out. Leave my body. I will kill you." "Oh, De Xian, your Buddha heart isn't sturdy enough. You've gone astray. It seems I must first eliminate the threat within the Buddhist sect." Yi Jialua's body shuddered, his facial expressions alternating between twisted grimaces and serene compassion. This change in expression left the group of demons in Chongzhou glancing at each other. Originally, they were planning to flee, but now that Yi Jialua had an issue with his body, many of them regained hope in their hearts. Perhaps Yi Jialua wasn't unbeatable after all? They already understood that Yi Jialua was currently possessing a dual soul, competing for control of the body. As long as they seized the opportunity, they might still turn the tide. However, due to the display of Purple Mansion realm strength by Yi Jialua just now, the demon cultivators were eager but none wanted to make the first move. The scene was at a stalemate in this bizarre atmosphere, with only Yi Jialua's intermittent voice. Ultimately, it was the yang god of the divine monk Jing Hui that was stronger. Its Shariputra was constantly refined day and night with the wisdom of all beings in esoteric Buddhism, coupled with the strength of the yang god. It finally suppressed Yi Jialua's primordial spirit. However, Yi Jialua's primordial spirit did not give up, as it had higher compatibility with its own physical body. Despite being suppressed, it could still control some parts of the body to a certain extent and even gradually reverse to suppress Jing Hui's yang god. After all, Jing Hui's yang god was like a rootless duckweed, having strength and quality but lacking endurance compared to Yi Jialua's primordial spirit. "It seems that only by borrowing the power of all beings can I suppress your demonic heart, De Xian." Jing Hui controlled most parts of the body, turning the Bodhi beads in his left hand, reciting the Sanskrit scripture with lips, as the mesmerizing Fantian demon sound rippled layer upon layer, continually spreading. 1 mile, 10 miles, 100 miles. This is the Fantian demon sound, a supporting magic exclusive to the main cultivation technique Moafofa of esoteric Buddhism, specifically used to brainwash the populace, absorb their divine wisdom, turning them into mindless living dead. Outside the Wanyu sect mountain gate, there were still many villages and cities. As the faint Fantian demon sound reached here, numerous people instantly lost focus in their eyes, as if thousands of Buddhas were preaching profound Buddhist scripture mysteries in their minds, making them feel they understood the ultimate truth of the heavens and earth. In reality, their divine wisdom was being gradually stripped away with the spread of the Fantian demon sound, incorporated into Yi Jialua, or more accurately, Jing Hui's yang god, enhancing its endurance with this alternative faith power bit by bit. "I knew you had mischief in mind. Qin Yushang slammed the table, unable to remain indifferent any longer. Her heavenly patrol department was endowed with the privilege of supervising all demonic activities within the Deli dynasty. Now witnessing Aidi Jelua, or rather Jinghui, about to implement the absolutely forbidden Fantian demon sound within the Deli dynasty, transforming the populace into living dead, Qin Yushang naturally could not turn a blind eye. She had to stop Monk Jinghui, otherwise, with the strength of the Purple Mansion realm, who knew how many people in the entire Chongzhou would be brainwashed, becoming living dead who only knew esoteric Buddhism and were oblivious to officialdom. Swish, swish, swish. The purple long ribbon at Qin Yushang's waist snaked out. This was the low-grade spirit treasure, Thousand Shadows jade embroidery silk, tightly entwining Monk Jinghui, while she herself kicked fiercely from mid-air. A muffled thunder-like sound resounded. Countless dark red lightning danced in the sky, and the space underfoot cracked open. Divine Monk Jinghui was still vying for the body with Aidi Jelua. His power decreased significantly, even worse than Aidi Jelua's when fighting alone. This sudden attack from Qin Yushang caught him off guard, causing his body to arch like a shrimp and fall from the sky to the ground, with blood gushing from his mouth and nose. 8 Desolate Dragon Elephant Skill. Qin Yushang's skin gleamed with a jade-like luster, her strength elevated to an extreme. The 8 Desolate Dragon Elephant skill she practiced was the Dali dynasty's top-tier body cultivation skill, resulting in a synergy greater than the sum of its parts when combined with her Taishu spirit body. In an instant, Qin Yushang, following the descent direction of Divine Monk Jinghui, moved like a flying sword, stomping down with such force that her fists and feet poured down like a storm. Boom! 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 Every punch and kick from Qin Yushang possessed a divine might that shook the heavens and earth, resembling a mythical ancient dragon elephant. The ground split into chasms that were bottomlessly deep, and the shockwave shattered everything within a radius of 1,000 meters into pieces, creating an enormous crater thousands of meters in diameter within which Qin Yushang, raining fist-like storm, and the battered divine Monk Jinghui existed. Even with the 7 treasures Kasaya protecting him, Qin Yushang's fist force and brute strength pierced through this low-grade spirit treasure, causing Monk Jinghui to spit blood. If not for the timely protection and attack from the Dharma form transformed by Monk Jinghui's Yang God, that Dharma form with twin horns, 6 legs, and 8 wings biting down, forcing Qin Yushang to retreat, she might have truly achieved her objective. But even at this moment, the Fantian demon sound of the divine Monk Jinghui continued unabated, as he absorbed more and more divine wisdom of the people, making his residing Yang God increasingly real, enhancing the power of his Dharma form. Quick! Break his Fantian demon sound. Seeing divine Monk Jinghui still chanting the Fantian demon sound, Qin Yushang looked towards the sect master of Wanyu sect, Yin Leibai. Yin Leibai initially froze when she saw Qin Yushang suddenly appear, but quickly understood what Qin Yushang meant. Though unsure of Qin Yushang's exact identity, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Without hesitation, she shook the Ling Shao 9 Curves bell, fully employing this low-grade sonic spirit treasure. Amidst the swinging of the Ling Shao 9 Curves bell, the Ling Shao phoenix cry reverberated across the sky, spreading far and wide, disrupting Jinghui's Fantian demon sound, interrupting his act of siphoning the people's wisdom to bolster his power. Since you seek death, this poor monk shall send you to hell first. Jinghui's face turned cold, his indifferent eyes revealing undisguised killing intent, harboring deep hatred towards this group of demon cultivators for sabotaging his grand plan of rebirth and possession. While speaking, the spiritual power within Jinghui surged, shattering the low-grade spirit treasure Thousand Shadows jade embroidery silk binding him, and simultaneously, pushing with both hands, escalating the spiritual power tremendously. The ground was shattered into pieces, and the sky cracked open with terrifying gaps. Countless golden swastika and Sanskrit emanated from the gaps, transforming into 1,000-foot-tall Buddha. The heavens and earth seemed ready to overturn. This Buddha's facial features were furious, and its hands turned into world-destroying demons, suppressing downwards. Join forces. Qin Yushang's eyes were heavy, and she revealed her trump card, a green phoenix red flood dragon fan. which she began to wield towards the 1,000-foot giant Buddha ahead. This was an innate spiritual object. Once fanned out, a divine green phoenix bird soared into the sky, unleashing countless blades of strong wind, while a fire dragon traversed the earth, turning it into a molten lava lake. Fire borrowed the power of the wind borrowed the power of fire, combining to form a vast landscape of wind and fire, burning everything in its path. Yet, due to the disparity in strength, even a powerful innate spiritual object like the green phoenix red flood dragon fan could not create a greater resistance. Bang! The giant Buddha's half-body was scorched red, melted, and flowed like liquid gold. But, due to its enormous size, the giant Buddha forcibly resisted the powerful offensive of the innate spiritual object. More importantly, Qin Yushang initially thought the Chong Zhou group of demons would join forces, only to see Jing Hui the divine monk erupt with power, causing them to flee faster than anyone, directly betraying Qin Yushang, leaving her face red with anger. Had the Chong Zhou group of demons acted together, they could surely have stopped the giant Buddha at the end of its force. It can only be said that Qin Yushang has long stationed herself in the Western Dali dynasty and doesn't understand the characteristics of the demon cultivators in the Southern Dali dynasty. This is how they do things. Sacrificing themselves for righteousness, that's something they absolutely wouldn't do. Before Qin Yushang could again wield the green phoenix red flood dragon fan, the scorched and melted giant Buddha's half-body, already like a mountain, crashed upon her. The scene was unbearable. The green phoenix red flood dragon fan in Qin Yushang's hand flew from her grasp, and she herself was swept thousands of meters away, her clothes tainted with blood. If not for her Taoist platform realm 7th stage cultivation and strong bones, this impact could have killed her outright. The giant Buddha didn't spare the Chong Zhou demon cultivators either. They hadn't fled far, just slipping to a distance to watch the clash between Qin Yushang and Jing Hui the divine monk, hoping both would be gravely injured, allowing them to profit from the situation, coveting the many treasures in both their hands. Yet, witnessing the giant Buddha's body shatter and suddenly collapse, forming 18 golden firefly-like flying swords that shot towards the surrounding Chong Zhou demon cultivators. Upon closer inspection, these 18 flying swords were formed from disassembled Bodhi beads. Buddha light gathered on them, vibrating with Tao sounds, possessed with divine power to dispel evil and demons, most effective against demon cultivators. The Taoist platform realm demon cultivators, who wished for an easy gain, were astounded, now finding escape too late, forced to fight with all their might. Some were bloodied in the sky, others died on the spot. Among them, 10 strong men were severely injured in an instant, with 3 of the Taoist platform realm falling. Even the Golden Brilliance sect hierarch perished, the Netherworld soul capturing pearl dropping to the ground. Mainly, the Bodhi beads flying swords were too suppressive against them, coupled with the purple mansion spiritual power of Jing Hui the divine monk amplifying their power, making them overwhelmingly powerful, rendering many demon cultivators powerless with just one move. Ha ha! Ha ha ha! I won back my physical body. Suddenly, wild laughter erupted, as Jialuo floated down from the sky. His face was ecstatic. Indeed, when Jing Hui the divine monk unleashed counterattack forces earlier, burned significantly by Qin Yushang's green phoenix red flood dragon fan, damaging the young god to a certain extent, giving him an opportunity to regain his physical body. Now, the demon cultivators were heavily injured, those fallen were fallen, while his battle strength remained fairly intact. With Bodhi beads, the demon-subduing golden bowl, and the 7 treasures Kasaya in his hand, he couldn't fathom how he could lose. Thinking of this, seeing each heavily injured demon cultivator at the scene, Qin Yushang struggling to get up, and the green phoenix red flood dragon fan and Netherworld soul capturing pearl fallen on the ground, he no longer restrained his inner joy. His hands moved with force, intending to claim the 2 rare powerful innate spiritual objects. But just then, a series of footsteps suddenly sounded, accompanied by an evil laugh that immediately incensed those hearing it. What a bold one, your abilities aren't great, but your luck isn't bad. Be sensible and hand over the innate spiritual objects to me. At least they won't be wasted. Cage. Almost as the voice finished, A middle-aged man appeared at the place of the Green Phoenix Red Flood Dragon fan. The man had a plain appearance, yet his movements were exceptionally swift, grabbing the fan effortlessly and swiftly grasping the Netherworld soul-capturing pearl flying towards Jaluo. "This item is fated for me. I'll accept it unceremoniously." The middle-aged man's smile left everyone silent, with only his speechless laughter echoing across the scene. "What nerve! Who are you?" Jaluo's mouth twitched, his forehead veins bulging, watching the cooked duck being stolen. He couldn't suppress his anger. He. I am a mere loose cultivator, nameless and without surname." Su Jie was pleased while playing with the Green Phoenix Red Flood Dragon fan and Netherworld soul-capturing pearl, responding causally to Jaluo's questioning. These two innate spiritual objects are extremely rare. The Netherworld soul-capturing pearl in the hands of a Dao platform realm cultivator can control the primordial spirits of peers, and when in the hands of a Purple Mansion cultivator, its power amplifies equally against peers, even impacting the Yang gods significantly. The Green Phoenix Red Flood Dragon fan was extraordinary. Qin Yushang used it to battle Jing Hui, the divine monk, into mutual destruction, forcibly clashing her Dao platform realm's 7th stage cultivation with the Purple Mansion realm, although this Purple Mansion realm was somewhat misleading, from which one could see the immense power of the fan, rivaling the Bodhi beads in Jaluo's possession. Upon hearing Su Jie claim to be a loose cultivator, everyone, be it the Chongzhou demon cultivators or Jaluo the esteemed Buddhist monk, were momentarily baffled. What thing is this? Since when did loose cultivators get involved in such a high-level battlefield, not even enduring the aftermath of a fight? However, some noticed Su Jie's mysterious presence. Many Dao platform realm strongmen didn't even catch how Su Jie arrived here. But even so, no one believed Su Jie could be a match for Jaluo, only thinking Su Jie had cultivated some decent movement techniques. "Why don't you run away already?" Qin Yushang clutched her chest, blood trickling from the corners of her mouth. Upon seeing Su Jie appear, her pretty pupils contracted slightly, shocked at Su Jie's audaciousness to dare come alone to fish in troubled waters. Though Su Jie seemed to have successfully seized an opportunity, Qin Yushang knew Jaluo would never let Su Jie leave. The two innate spiritual objects in his hand were something Jaluo would definitely not want to miss out on. But she was now severely injured, having used all her strength to withstand a blow in her confrontation with Jing Hui monk, forcing Jing Hui's Yang god to suffer damage. Therefore, even though she wanted to help, she was helpless. "Mere loose cultivator, you're courting death." Jaluo was furious. Just now, he had thought Su Jie was some cunning old hand come to ambush him. But if he was merely a loose cultivator, it would only take a slap to kill him. And indeed, Jaluo did just that, launching out his right palm. Sun-shrieking divine palm. His palm glowed with dazzling Buddha light, like a small sun rising from the ground, blasting rocks and soil into the sky. Brat doesn't know how to appreciate favors. Opportunity was originally mine. Yet you dare hurt people. Then I must teach you a lesson. Su Jie also responded with a palm strike. His palm's spiritual power flowed like water, transforming from a gentle stream to a torrent and tsunami in an instant. 5 elements demon-suppressing handprint. In the next moment, a massive handprint, radiating green, red, yellow, gold, and blue hues, emerged from the void, like a great hand grasping the sun, snuffed out Jaluo's little sun from the sun-shrieking divine palm. The small sun dissipated directly in a wisp of green smoke under the 5 elements demon-suppressing handprint, and the handprint did not stop there. Before Jaluo's disbelieving eyes, the 5 elements handprint pressed onto him. Boom! Spiritual power erupted, the 5 elements power cycled eternally, and the handprint, with unparalleled dominance, crushed through Jaluo until it blasted onto a mountain, forming a massive handprint with a kilometer diameter. The handprint's texture was clear, delving hundreds of meters into the mountain, and in its midst lay Jaluo like a dead dog, imprinted on the mountain, lying in a spread-natured corpse pose. His ribs were broken, organs damaged, limbs showed signs of deformation, the outcome of their encounter clear and indisputable. TSK, I told you treasure belongs to those with fate. Lack of strength means treasure will be unrelated to you. The brat doesn't believe. comes to suffer in vain. Su Jie shook his head arrogantly, catching a fragment of Kasaya falling from the sky, torn apart by Su Jie's 5 elements demon-suppressing handprint during the explosion just now. He wiped off the dust-covered Netherworld soul-capturing pearl and Green Phoenix Red Flood Dragon fan, breathing onto them a few times to clean them spotless, his attention entirely focused on the treasure. Seemingly blasting away Jialuo, this esoteric Buddhism holy monk, was no more than a minor matter for Su Jie, not worth placing any importance on. However, Su Jie did not care, but the Chongzhou Demon Path strongmen at the scene and the Taoist Platform Realm 7th Stage Qin Yushang were left dumbfounded. They completely could not believe their eyes. The battle they thought would be crushed was, in fact, crushing, just the target was contrary to their expectations. Originally thought Su Jie would be slapped to death, but instead, he nearly sent Jialuo reporting to the underworld with one palm. What a joke! A sex prodigy cultivated by the entire sect force, half killed by a mere loose cultivator's strike. The Blood Demon Cave sect master's eyes widened, suspecting he may have fallen for an illusion technique. Otherwise, how could he see such an outrageous scene? Desire sect master In Lei Bai. What's this person's background really? Qin Yushang bit her red lips, distractedly staring at Su Jie. She previously thought Su Jie was a secret realm loose cultivator. As a result, Su Jie finished Jialuo with one palm. This difference in combat strength means secret realm is impossible even as a Taoist platform realm 7th stage mighty. Like herself in peak condition, facing Jialuo, she wouldn't have a guaranteed win, could only call it 50-50, let alone one palm to render him half dead. This has already exceeded the capabilities of a Taoist platform realm cultivator. Could it be the Purple Mansion? In Qin Yushang's mind emerged a frightening conjecture. Her clear eyes filled with shock. Purple Mansion, that is a figure standing at the top of the Dili dynasty. Even she can only temporarily unable to reach their level. But there are few Purple Mansion strongmen in the Dili dynasty, in the southern 4 states of Chongzhou, Qingzhou, Qing Province, and Jingzhou. Ever since 100 years ago when 2 Purple Mansion cultivators from Guanchao Pavilion and Fire Cloud Palace fought to mutual destruction, never heard anyone else advancing to Purple Mansion. If someone had truly advanced to Purple Mansion, it would be a heaven-shaking event capable of shaking the entire Dili dynasty, unless the breakthrough was hidden deliberately by the person, never walked the world. Similar thoughts were not exclusive to Qin Yushang. Other demon cultivator strongmen also considered them. Only a Purple Mansion realm great power could suppress Jialuo, the esoteric Buddhism holy monk, like a father disciplining his son, subdued with one hand. For a moment, countless pairs of startled eyes focused on Su Jie, speculating about Su Jie's true identity. Not only were the Chongzhou demon cultivators and Qin Yushang concerned about Su Jie's identity, but also Jialuo, who was struck into the mountain by Su Jie with a single palm. His body was fractured in many places, his heart damaged, lungs shattered, intestines ripped, and even one of his eyes was knocked out of its socket, making him look bloody and indiscernible. This guy. With a thud, Jialuo fell from the mountain, crashing to the ground. He arduously lifted his head, and when he looked at Su Jie, his only remaining left eye was filled with terror, as he finally understood that he had been toyed with by Su Jie. How could any loose cultivator possess such power, able to defeat him, a cultivator at the 7th layer of the Taoist platform realm, with one strike? Such combat prowess is definitely at the level of the Purple Mansion realm. Climbing up from the ground, Jialuo, without hesitation, stumbled and shot up into the sky, letting out a whistle. From the distant sky came a long cry, and then a dragon elephant, 3 zhang tall, appeared, traversing through the air. It wrapped its long trunk around Jialuo, picking him up onto its back before swiftly fleeing. Having witnessed Su Jie's true strength, Jialuo no longer dared to confront him. Now all he could think about was escaping for his life. As long as he returned to the western regions, even if Su Jie were a powerhouse of the Purple Mansion realm, he wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Young one, did I say you could leave? Su Jie raised his head, looking at Jialuo's fleeing figure, a cold smile curling at his lips. Su Jie grasped the Netherworld soul-capturing pearl in his left hand, aiming it at Jialuo. while fanning the green phoenix red flood dragon fan with his right. Innate spiritual objects are much easier to control than spiritual treasures. They are naturally formed and not artificial creations like magical artifacts or treasures, without any man-made imprints inside. Thus, Su Jie could use them immediately upon acquisition. In Su Jie's hands, the power these two innate spiritual objects unleashed far exceeded that of their previous users. Aia! Jialuo clutched his head, crying out incessantly. His primordial spirit, tethered by the netherworld's soul-capturing pearl, felt as though it was being stretched like a rubber band. The extreme pain on the soul level made him wail in agony, rolling back and forth on the dragon elephant's back. If not for the Bodhi beads helping to resist a portion of the netherworld's soul-capturing pearl's power, his primordial spirit might have been pulled out of his body by now. In the next moment, the searing hot golden flames shrouded the sky, turning into a green phoenix and a red flood dragon, consuming everything ahead. Terror filled Jialuo's eyes as he hastily hid behind the dragon elephant, then unfolded the demon-subduing golden bowl, enlarging it to over a zhang in size, and ducked inside. Sizzle! Roar! With the dragon elephant's earth-shattering wail, the red-gold flames from the green phoenix red flood dragon fan overwhelmed it. Despite its strength, comparable to the first level of the Taoist platform realm, its robust body was roasted golden brown, crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, emitting a succulent aroma. By the time the red gold flames passed, the dragon elephant had already fallen to the ground, now a lifeless corpse. Jialuo, hiding behind it, survived narrowly thanks to the dragon elephant absorbing much of the fire, along with the 7 treasures Kasaya and the Bodhi beads. His body was charred black, as if from the depths of a coal mine, with many areas exposing stark white bones. Roasting a dragon elephant. I wonder how it tastes. Su Jie looked at the dragon elephant fallen from the sky, then again at the golden bowl in the sky, waving the green phoenix red flood dragon fan once more. When Su Jie wielded the green phoenix red flood dragon fan, it was much more terrifying than when in Qin Yushang's hands. Not only more powerful but also faster in its fanning rhythm, sending waves of flames. The world seemed to transform into a sea of fire, mountains melting into flowing magma under the intense heat, scorching hot waves sweeping through, bubbles of air appearing as the void burned, as if the space itself couldn't endure it. Back in the demon-subduing golden bowl, Jialuo, even this low-grade spiritual treasure couldn't withstand the fiery assault from the green phoenix red flood dragon fan. With several fanning motions of the green phoenix red flood dragon fan, the golden bowl's surface softened under the intense heat, the countless Sanskrit and Buddha talismans inscribed on it twisting and blurring. More flames penetrated inside the golden bowl, and Jialuo was already in collapse. In such flames, his body was like a human pill in a pill furnace. Even the 7 treasures Kasaya and the Bodhi beads couldn't defend against it. The Chongzhou demon cultivators all witnessed this scene, where Jialuo, who they could hardly defeat earlier, was completely at Su Jie's mercy, played with as he pleased. How deeply is this guy hiding? Qin Yushang's phoenix eyes flickered, being well aware of the divine power this innate spiritual object held. Yet, in Su Jie's hands, she found herself unable to utilize the green phoenix red flood dragon fan to its full potential, as he did. If she could wield the green phoenix red flood dragon fan like Su Jie, perhaps she wouldn't be so gravely injured. This only made Qin Yushang more curious about Su Jie's identity, wanting to know where this powerhouse of the Purple Mansion realm came from. Spare me. Jialuo's lips trembled, wishing to plead for mercy from Su Jie. His previous arrogance all but gone. Young one, I wonder if a relic would emerge after your turn to ash. I'm quite curious. With a smile on his face, Su Jie kept fanning, unfazed. The green phoenix red flood dragon fan was just too good, effortlessly creating vast sweeps of fiery assault, consuming little spiritual energy, with astonishing flame temperatures, making Su Jie reluctant to part with it. Jialuo screamed miserably, losing the ability to respond. For within a mere few seconds, his entire body was roasted, and his internal tissues, including flesh, bones, and organs were all charred, dying a ghastly death. However, his body did not produce a relic. Instead, from his corpse, a relic flew out, precisely belonging to the divine monk Jing Hui. The choice of this relic is the same as Jaluo's. The divine monk Jing Hui, who witnessed Su Jie's brutality within Jaluo's body, dared not to provoke Su Jie after Jaluo's death, and fled desperately. Hehe, divine monk Jing Hui, so they say you are a high monk of Western Buddhism. Today, I wish to seek guidance from you on behalf of the demon cultivator. Su Jie flicked his finger, and the netherworld soul-capturing pearl surpassed the relic, catching up to it and crashing heavily. The netherworld soul-capturing pearl is an innate spiritual object specialized in divine soul attacks. While within the relic, the Yang God of divine monk Jing Hui resides, and a Yang God, in essence, is also a divine soul. So when the netherworld soul-capturing pearl struck the relic, it directly shattered it into pieces. A faint cry of pain could be heard. Then an elderly figure, wearing a golden kasaya, with narrow eyes appeared in the void. Upon closer inspection, one noticed the old man's body was phantasmagoric and shifting. This was the Yang God of the divine monk Jing Hui, and his true form in life. Amitabha Buddha, dear benefactor, there is no hatred between us. If you let me go, our esoteric Buddhism will surely shower you with gifts to satisfy you. You have no need to assist these demon cultivators. They are the scourge of the world, despised and opposed by all, deserving of death. Divine monk Jing Hui clasped his hands, chanting Buddhist sounds, attempting to coerce and bribe Su Jie. On the contrary, benefactor, if you continue to press me, then I, a poor monk, shall have no choice but to fight you to the death. The divine monk Jing Hui then clutched the Bodhi beads, his eyes fierce, like a cornered rabbit that bites back. If Su Jie was unwilling to spare him, he would not obediently submit to slaughter, but would gamble everything, hoping to frighten Su Jie away. After all, a Yang God is the strongest purple mansion attack. Its dying burst is still quite intimidating. The scene was tensely watched by the Chongzhou devils and Qin Yushang, as the reputation of esoteric Buddhism was quite terrifying. Although Su Jie had slain Jaluo, killing the Yang God of divine monk Jing Hui would surely thoroughly offend esoteric Buddhism. Just a futile struggle. Su Jie stepped toward the divine monk Jing Hui, smiling domineeringly. And you? Do you know the identity with which I'm speaking to you? Now, look at what you think I resemble. With those words, a 1,000-hand centipede crawled out from Su Jie's sleeve, roaring as it revealed its true form. A massive body like cast iron, a strong violet-black insect shell, rows of ghostly, pale corpse hands, a terrifying blood-red maw. Its appearance sent tremors through the land for hundreds of miles, causing countless living creatures to tremble in silence, wetting themselves in fear. Beneath Su Jie's feet, a 9-grade sacred lotus floated, its petals crystal clear, with the phantom of auspicious beasts like dragons, phoenixes, and cheilants shining and moving around, spirit light illuminating heaven and earth. The only difference was with the holy lotus supposed to be golden. Its veins showed a blood-red hue, exuding a strange aura. Behind Su Jie, an endless blood sea spread out. The surging blood sea lifted wave after wave, spreading for untold miles, replacing the cloudy sky with a bleeding dome as if the heavens cried blood. The earth spewed blood rivers, rushing forward, the blood light obscuring the sun, casting the world into a grim Azura world. Now, do I look like a demon to you? Su Jie's facial muscles shifted, reverting to his true form, gazing at the pale divine monk Jing Hui, his eyes sharp like blades, thin lips curling in a mocking arc, truly a figure of overwhelming demonic might and terrifying dominance. You! Divine monk Jing Hui was aghast, stammering in fright. Under the twilight of the blood sea, Su Jie stood atop the 9-grade sacred lotus with his hands behind his back, the 1,000-hand centipede coiling beside him, the canopy of the blood sea overhead casting countless bloody shadows. In this form, saying he isn't a demon, who in this world could claim that title? Not only was the divine monk Jing Hui shocked, the devils of Chongzhou, upon seeing the 1,000-hand centipede and the surging blood sea, a figure instantly popped into their minds. Blood demon ancestor, Su Jie, he is Purple Mansion. The strongest devil in Qingzhou, sect master of Ghost Ridge Palace, Su Jie. It's really him. When did he advance to the Purple Mansion? I remember he is quite young. One by one, the powerhouse of Chongzhou Demon Path recognized Su Jie's identity. The Thousand-Hand Centipede and Blood Sea were his signatures. Across the realm, only Su Jie had achieved the top grade 8 refinements of the Thousand-Hand Centipede, and his Blood Sea devouring Sky Demon skill had reached an unparalleled realm, evident by his reverence as Blood Demon Ancestor, showing the depth of Su Jie's mastery. Upon witnessing Su Jie's Blood Sea devouring Sky Demon skill, Sect Master of Blood Demon Cave, Zhang Jin of Taoist Platform Realm 5th Layer, felt utterly powerless. Previously, he often heard Su Jie's Blood Sea devouring Sky Demon skill was unrivaled in the world, yet he had never seen it with his own eyes, always holding a bit of disbelief, thinking Su Jie's reputation was perhaps simply due to his outstanding battle records, repeatedly defeating and killing those righteous sect Taoist Platform Realm experts, leading to exaggerated tales. Now, witnessing Su Jie's Blood Sea devouring Sky Demon skill firsthand, he realized his previous assumptions were entirely naive. Compared to Su Jie's Blood Sea, his own was just a small puddle. Juxtaposing the two was an insult to Su Jie's skill. How did he cultivate this? This level of Blood Sea, could it be the Blood Sea devouring Sky Demon skill has reached the 10th layer? Zhang Jin's mouth twisted with bitterness, his 6th layer skill being the strongest realm of Blood Demon Cave, cultivated for over 200 years to reach this level. He could not fathom how, given Su Jie's age, even starting cultivation from the womb, nor sacrificing the entire population of Qingzhou, could achieve such effects. Blood Demon Ancestor, Su Jie. Beneath the veil, Qin Yushang's expression changed entirely. She had heard of Su Jie's fierce reputation. A few years ago, he wiped out Guanchao Pavilion, shocking the Deli dynasty, being the most powerful devil dwelling in Qingzhou. She had just worried about Su Jie's safety, but with Su Jie's true identity revealed, not only was he the strongest demon cultivator from Qingzhou, but also a supreme great demon of Purple Mansion realm, her brow furrowed promptly, aware that the Heavenly Patrol Department still had a warrant for Su Jie. On one hand, Su Jie's earlier actions, in a sense, saved her from Jialua, yet on the other hand, their factions were enemies. Thus, her feelings towards Su Jie became highly complex. The assembly of Chongzhou demons was staggered by Su Jie's true identity, a Purple Mansion realm demon cultivator, while the previous generation of demons from Chongzhou had a Purple Mansion realm demon cultivator over 300 years ago. This more than 300 years, Chongzhou hadn't had another Purple Mansion realm demon cultivator. Yet now, in the region where the Deli dynasty's demon path prospered the most, not a true demon emerged for centuries unexpectedly. In Qingzhou, where the righteous sect flourished, Su Jie emerged as a Purple Mansion true demon. This revelation shook Chongzhou's demon path powerhouses beyond words. None would dare question Su Jie's might, for wiping out Guanchao Pavilion was proof enough, let alone witnessing Su Jie's undefeated demonic power. Old monk, come then, use all your life's learning, and entertain me. Su Jie's gaze turned bloodthirsty, punctuated by a chilling, domineering laughter. Boom! The Thousand-Hand Centipede roared upward, countless purple light rays like a rainstorm, forcing the divine monk Jinghui to jump and flee embarrassingly but unable to completely evade. Many parts pierced, making the Yang god resemble a hollow honeycomb. Moreover, the Blood Sea began to roll and cover more ground, wave upon wave rushing, causing the Yang god of the divine monk Jinghui to smoke in places, rapidly corroded beneath the Blood Sea, looking very pitiful. This former Purple Mansion realm divine monk could only struggle in the Blood Sea. Amitabha Buddha, devil, you are going too far. Remember that Buddhism is boundless, and the Buddha path will surely surpass the demon path. This is the truth of heaven and earth. By daring to attack me today, you defy the heavenly Tao and the Buddha. Jinghui, the divine monk, shook the Bodhi beads in his hand, fully activating this innate spiritual object. An overwhelming Buddhist light erupted, like a great sun slowly rising, confronting Su Jie's monstrous Blood Sea. The Bodhi beads came from the holy Bodhi tree, a treasured artifact of esoteric Buddhism, most effective against demon cultivators. Previously, Jalua had restrained the group of demons from Chongzhou with this spiritual object. When the Buddhist light appeared, all demons fled. But now, facing Su Jie's tumultuous blood sea, the situation was completely reversed. In the midst of the overwhelming Buddhist light, although Su Jie's blood sea had some evaporation, compared to the vast and boundless blood sea, what the Bodhi beads could evaporate seemed utterly insignificant. On the contrary, the towering waves of the blood sea surged higher and higher, constantly oppressing the Buddhist light, compressing it back into the Bodhi beads. Of course, this also related to Jing Hui's current condition. If he were in full health, he might have been able to hold on a bit longer. Haha, defying the heavenly Tao? You're not even fit to be mentioned in the same breath. As they say, the Buddha is 1 foot tall, but the demon is 10 feet higher. I have yet to kill a high monk from the Purple Mansion realm. Today you shall be the first. Su Jie laughed heartily, ready to send Jing Hui on his way. Roar! Dharma form. Under Su Jie's taunts, Jing Hui erupted. He burned his yang god, swallowing the Bodhi beads to barely fend off the blood sea's corrosion. He then transformed into a Dharma form, becoming a monstrous creature with 2 horns, 6 legs, and 8 wings, charging towards Su Jie through wave after wave of the blood sea, resolutely risking his life in a final gambit. Su Jie's expression remained unchanged, knowing he could easily choose to let the blood sea wear down Jing Hui to his demise. The immortal characteristic of his blood sea devouring sky demon skill meant he had no fear of Jing Hui's desperate attempts. Moreover, if Su Jie didn't want to be touched, Jing Hui wouldn't even come near him, especially with the 9th grade Sacred Lotus and Shao Qian protecting him. Yet, Su Jie let the blood sea open, allowing Jing Hui to rush directly before him. Because what Su Jie wanted was to intimidate these group of demons from Chongzhou, searing today's experience into their minds to facilitate his next steps in domination. Just a battered and exhausted yang god body, struggling in vain. Witness the true might of the Purple Mansion. Su Jie clasped his hands together, his brow splitting open, and he snorted coldly. Dharma form! Chaos! Boom! The sky split with limitless ghostly light, and the Chaos Dharma form appeared behind Su Jie, bearing double wings, a body like a mountain, and a single eye within its form. In the next second, the single eye of the Chaos Dharma form looked towards Jing Hui, who was rushing in, and slightly blinked. In an instant, a divine radiance pillar that illuminated 9 heavens and 10 earths burst forth with such speed that Jing Hui couldn't react in time. His expression froze on his face. The yang god Dharma form shattered under the divine radiance pillar like porcelain. Rumble. The divine radiance pillar lasted over a dozen seconds, lingering between heaven and earth. The holy radiance illuminated the world, reflecting the stupefied expressions of the Chongzhou demon practitioners. Their hearts and bodies trembled under the Chaos Dharma form's assault, as small creatures would shiver in terror at the rumbling thunder. It was an absolute overpowering force, the invincible Purple Mansion divine power, and for the first time in over 300 years, these Chongzhou demon practitioners experienced the overwhelming strength of the Purple Mansion demon. Many demon practitioners, under this radiance, couldn't help but feel a sense of submission, eyes showing reverence. A dozen seconds later, when the divine radiance pillar dispersed, an empty black mark appeared in the void, stretching down to the ground, penetrating thousands of meters into the earth, forming a bottomless abyss. This was the most powerful attack in the Purple Mansion realm, the divine power of the yang god Dharma form. Under such an attack, Jing Hui's so-called desperate fight became a joke. His entire being was blown apart by the Chaos Dharma form, leaving only the Bodhi beads, the innate spiritual object, intact under the Chaos Dharma's assault. It seems that today the demon path has triumphed, and your esoteric Buddhism isn't that formidable after all. Su Jie produced the 10,000 soul banner, gathering Jing Hui's shattered yang god fragments to share in the human emperor's glory within the banner. At the same time, Su Jie raised his hand to catch the falling Bodhi beads, taking this treasure from esoteric Buddhism. With just this battle, Su Jie gained greatly, collecting 3 innate spiritual objects: the Green Phoenix Red Flood Dragon Fan, Netherworld's Soul Capturing Pearl, and the Bodhi Beads. And that wasn't all. Su Jie then turned his gaze to the Chongzhou demon practitioners. Next, they too would become part of Su Jie's acquisition, one of his trophies. I, Su Jie of Ghost Ridge Palace, proclaim dominion over Chongzhou today. In the future, Chongzhou will be under my rule. Whoever is not convinced, step forward. Su Jie's voice was like heavenly might, shaking the heavens and awakening the dumbfounded group of demons from Chongzhou. The scene fell into a momentary silence, not because they dared to refuse Su Jie, but because the demons had yet to immediately switch allegiance, and Su Jie's declaration was too simple and direct. Our Desire Sect is willing to submit to Sect Master Su. In the future, just a word from Sect Master Su, and we will follow wholeheartedly, unafraid of peril or death. Amidst the silence, suddenly, a charming voice rang out. The speaker was a voluptuous woman dressed in a translucent gauze, her fair skin and sensitive areas faintly visible. She was none other than Yin Lei Bai, the sect master of the Desire Sect, who took the initiative to submit to Su Jie. In fact, upon recognizing Su Jie's identity and seeing the 9-grade sacred lotus, Yin Lei Bai understood everything. The Desire Sect had once targeted Su Jie, suspecting that the 9-grade sacred lotus was in Su Jie's possession. Now it seemed the speculation was wrong. The quality of Su Jie's 9-grade sacred lotus didn't match, looking more like it was cultivated from a lotus seed. Thinking of their past enmity, Yin Lei Bai felt a sense of fear. She was terribly afraid that Su Jie would settle scores with her later, possibly killing her with a slap. So as soon as Su Jie spoke, she immediately chose to submit. To curry favor with Su Jie to the maximum extent, Yin Lei Bai even tapped her forehead and extracted a drop of her vermilion blood. Su Sect Master, this is my vermilion blood. Please accept it. I am willing to serve by your side as a humble flute maidservant in the future. Yin Lei Bai knelt down, raising her hands to offer this drop of vermilion blood to Su Jie. The Chongzhou demon practitioners observing this scene were extremely surprised. Due to the unique nature of their cultivation techniques, the Desire Sect needed to practice yang absorption and yin supplementation, advancing their cultivation through the collection of the 7 emotions and 6 desires, especially with the bewitching and illusion techniques which could easily ensnare male cultivators. However, this demon technique also had its drawbacks. Absorbing too much of the 7 emotions and 6 desires made one prone to going astray. Therefore, highly cultivated practitioners from the Desire Sect would condense vermilion blood within themselves, using it to guide and assist their cultivation, which was fundamental to them. If an outsider controlled the vermilion blood, snuffing it out would immediately cause the original owner to go astray, either going mad or dying. The Chongzhou demon practitioners didn't expect Yin Lei Bai to be so willing to submit to Su Jie without leaving any way out for herself. Having her vermilion blood meant Su Jie essentially controlled her life and death. You are quite perceptive. Su Jie picked up the drop of vermilion blood, the liquid subtly pink. As he examined it closely, it seemed as if countless feminine voices murmured seductively and breathlessly in his ear. But such things had no effect on Su Jie. He merely gave it a disinterested glance and placed it in his storage bag. Seeing Yin Lei Bai slide down to kneel, the other Chongzhou demon practitioners followed suit. Su Sect Master's Blood Sea Devouring Sky Demon skill is mightier than our Blood Demon Cave, making my entire cave deeply respectful and willing to submit to Su Sect Master. Su Sect Master slew the Western region's evil monk, avenging our Sect Master. On behalf of the Golden Brilliance Sect, I pledge to wholeheartedly serve Su Sect Master. Your pointing finger is the direction our sect will advance. Su Sect Master is a model for us demon practitioners. My illusion tower is willing to honor Su Sect Master as the overlord of the Chongzhou demon path. My 9 Dragons Hall is willing to. One by one, the Chongzhou demon practitioners knelt down thoroughly and willingly. Demon practitioners were quicker to adapt to circumstances than the Righteous Sect. While the Righteous Sect might grapple with issues of face and reputation, the demon path focused on pragmatism. Demon practitioners were a thoroughly pure existence. When they fought, the one with the strongest fists spoke authoritatively. Prestige and face were irrelevant. They believed strength was truth. With absolute strength, Su Jie had already subdued these demon practitioners. To these Chongzhou demons, the emergence of a Purple Mansion Realm Great Demon was enough to change the landscape for demon cultivators of the Deli dynasty, greatly boosting the prestige of the demon path. Following Su Jie promised benefits as well. Moreover, given Su Jie's intimidating demeanor, nobody was foolish enough to resist him. Anyone who dared not to kneel would surely be slapped into a pulp on the spot. Having witnessed Su Jie's battle, no Chongzhou demon practitioners dared to oppose him. Very well. Follow me, and the glorious days for us demon practitioners will be here soon. For better development, the Ghost Ridge Palace will send disciples to implement some institutional reforms in your sections. All you need to do is cooperate obediently. Su Jie nodded in satisfaction, as the Chongzhou demon practitioners were quite astute. However, Su Jie wanted more than just nominal submission. He planned to reform their sects, learning from Qingzhou's experience, establishing his own rules. In the future, if they wanted to act recklessly and callously kill and refine as before, it would depend on whether the Ghost Ridge Palace and Su Jie's Iron Fist allowed it. Some Chongzhou demon practitioners' faces changed slightly. They had heard of the changes in Qingzhou and naturally resisted Su Jie's reform ideas. But with the situation beyond their control, they had no choice but to nod and agree. It's settled then. When Su Jie spoke, he ignored the expectant gaze of the Golden Brilliance sect elder, who couldn't tear his eyes from the Netherworld soul-capturing pearl in Su Jie's hand. But such a treasure in Su Jie's possession wasn't going to be returned. Having avenged the Golden Brilliance sect's sect master, the small Netherworld soul-capturing pearl was naturally Su Jie's reward. Another person also had their eyes on Su Jie's treasure. Qin Yushang's phoenix eyes watched the green phoenix red flood dragon fan. She didn't stand with the Chongzhou demon practitioners but was in another direction. Even though the battle was over, she couldn't find joy. Her most beloved innate spiritual treasure had been taken by Su Jie, and her heart bled. She opened her mouth but ultimately didn't speak. She knew that Su Jie was unlikely to return the green phoenix red flood dragon fan to her. Su Jie turned, meeting her gaze, and a slight smile played on his lips. He tossed the green phoenix red flood dragon fan in his hand and said with a smirk, "What? Do you want it?" Under the veil, Qin Yushang's expression shifted slightly. Following Su Jie's words, she responded, "Of course I want it back. What are the conditions?" "I was just saying it casually, and you actually believed it." Su Jie shrugged his shoulders, bluntly giving his reply, causing Qin Yushang's face to darken as her phoenix eyes glared at Su Jie. "The green phoenix red flood dragon fan originally belongs to me." He emphasized this fact, but deep down she knew that Su Jie was a demon cultivator, and demon cultivators naturally don't care about civility and integrity. "It was taken by me from Jaluo's hands. I saved your life from Jaluo. Is this how you treat someone who saved your life?" Su Jie stroked the green phoenix red flood dragon fan. His smile filled with provocation in Qin Yushang's eyes. But ironically, Su Jie was not wrong. If not for his intervention earlier, the green phoenix red flood dragon fan would have fallen into Jaluo's hands, and she herself would have most likely suffered at Jaluo's hands. With a deep breath, Qin Yushang suppressed the reluctance she felt towards the green phoenix red flood dragon fan. She now had no room to negotiate with Su Jie and turned around to leave first. It was at this moment that Yin Leibai took small steps to Su Jie's side and whispered, "Su Sect Master, if I'm not mistaken, that woman is probably from the Heavenly Patrol Department of the Deli Dynasty. The White Tiger Hall Master Qin Yushang, a Taoist platform realm 7th stage powerhouse." "Oh, the Heavenly Patrol Department?" Su Jie's eyebrows twitched upon hearing this information, feeling a bit surprised to learn that Qin Yushang's true identity was actually aligned with the Heavenly Patrol Department. "Yes, our Desire Sect has many establishments in places like Willow Streets, and we have abundant information sources. This White Tiger Hall Master is at the Taoist Platform Realm 7th stage, cultivating the 8 Desolate Dragon Elephant skill. She is the most outstanding prodigy of the younger generation of the Heavenly Patrol Department, receiving their dedicated training, and is hailed as a super talent expected to reach the Purple Mansion realm within 10 years. In Lei spoke compliantly, despite Qin Yushang being masked, but for the knowledgeable In Lei, what was revealed during Qin Yushang's previous combat was already enough to prove her identity. Haha. So she belongs to the Heavenly Patrol Department. Su Jie's gaze flickered slightly as he pondered while watching Qin Yushang's distant figure, summoning the thousand-hand centipede with a wave. The thousand-hand centipede flew down, and with one stride, Su Jie stood on the head of the centipede. Then, the thousand-hand centipede surged skyward, swiftly approaching Qin Yushang. Due to her previous severe injuries, Qin Yushang couldn't fly fast, and soon, the thousand-hand centipede blocked her path. Is there something else you want? Qin Yushang, looking at Su Jie suddenly blocking her path, felt an inexplicable sense of foreboding. Sure enough, in the next moment, Su Jie suddenly spoke. Famed Heavenly Patrol Department White Tiger Hall Master, the most outstanding prodigy of the Heavenly Patrol Department, leaving without a farewell is quite ungracious. Upon these words, Qin Yushang's heart sank. The worst had happened. Her true identity was exposed to Su Jie, which made her situation very unfavorable, even more dangerous than encountering Jalua. Because most demon cultivators are highly hostile to the Heavenly Patrol Department, which purges demons in the Deli dynasty, while demon cultivators often use ordinary people for cultivating demon techniques, such crimes are naturally disliked by the Heavenly Patrol Department, and demon cultivators have always been suppressed by them. With her true identity exposed to Su Jie, Qin Yushang was unsure of Su Jie's stance. If he were hostile, she wouldn't be able to leave Chongzhou today. Facing Su Jie, even in her full health, she wasn't his match. TSK. Unanticipated that the White Tiger Hall Master of the Heavenly Patrol Department turned out to be a young woman. If not for others revealing, I wouldn't have guessed that the person casually conversing with me at the tavern had such high status. Su Jie's expression was playful as he glanced up and down at Qin Yushang. Initially, Su Jie had assumed Qin Yushang belonged to some large sect, but the truth was she was part of the official power of the Deli dynasty. Infamous blood demon ancestor Su Jie, aren't you equally concealing your identity, addressing a young girl every time, you're not older than me? Qin Yushang realized there was no way to deceive further, and her personality wouldn't allow her to bow down, so her voice was rather cold and firm. He, quite a fiery temperament. No wonder you became the White Tiger Hall Master at such a young age. I've heard that the Heavenly Patrol Department has a bounty quest with my name, offering spirit stones worth over 100 million. Now for you, the Hall Master of the White Tiger Hall, faced with this so-called wanted devil from the Heavenly Patrol Department, what will you do? Su Jie patted his mount, the thousand-hand centipede, as the massive centipede coiled upward like a gigantic python, enclosing Qin Yushang within. Buzz! The thousand-hand centipede hissed as it unleashed its spirit-refining divine power. Countless pale corpse hands manifested in the void, possibly numbering in the millions. Everywhere seen were the pale corpse hands, densely packed. Come if you can. Qin Yushang gritted her teeth as the low-grade spirit treasure, Thousand Shadows jade embroidery silk, at her waist hurled up, forming a barrier in an attempt to resist. Boom! However, her current state of body couldn't muster much spiritual power, making such resistance seem futile. In an instant, countless corpse hands forcibly broke through the Thousand Shadows jade embroidery silk. 8 Desolate Dragon Elephant Skill. Qin Yushang bit her tongue, forcibly overdrawing her body, mustering thin spiritual power. Disregarding the injuries, her fists and bones resonated. White wrists slammed down in a white force of golden ocean turmoil, shattering a multitude of pale corpse hands. With a flick of her long jade leg, like a formidable mountain-cleaving battle axe, void exploded with rolling thunder sounds. The corpse hand ocean split like waves, and vast amounts of corpse hands were destroyed by chi and blood divine power. But the consequence of forcibly spurring her combat power and stirring chi and blood was that Qin Yushang's face grew paler by the minute. Her blood quickly vaporized. She feared she'd exhaust her strength and die before being killed. But even so, Qin Yushang still did not stop at all. Nor did she beg Su Jie for mercy. Her temperament was incomparably fierce. Xiao Qian capture her. Su Jie's eyes shone as he looked at Qin Yushang. Seeing her performance, he admired her even more and ordered Xiao Qian to capture her. The thousand-handed centipede, upon hearing the order, personally took action. Its massive pale corpse hands under its belly pressed through the air, directly capturing Qin Yushang's limbs. The thousand-handed centipede was a top-grade 8 refinement goo, its power enough to shatter mountains. Qin Yushang, weakened and at the end of her strength, naturally couldn't resist. She exerted all her strength, capable of throwing dragon elephants with one arm, but in her most adept physical confrontations, she couldn't match the thousand-handed centipede. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't break free. Chirp, chirp. Xiao Qian chirped happily, as if presenting a treasure, and brought Qin Yushang before Su Jie. From a distance, Qin Yushang looked as if she was wrapped in a lotus of corpse hands, unable to move her limbs, only able to express her anger with her fierce phoenix eyes. Su Jie looked at the captured Qin Yushang in front of him, slowly raised his right hand, his 5 fingers clawing towards Qin Yushang's face. Qin Yushang closed her eyes, waiting for death to come. Let it end like this, Qin Yushang thought, recalling the ways Su Jie had destroyed Jialuo and the divine monk Jing Hui in her mind. Perhaps her head would be crushed by a claw, her primordial spirit sucked into that 10,000-soul banner, not finding peace in death. Without fear in her heart, Qin Yushang only felt regret. There were many things she hadn't finished, and she had let her master down. I'm sorry, master. Qin Yushang's body gave up useless struggles, quietly waiting for death to arrive in her life. However, after several seconds, Qin Yushang felt that death was surprisingly slow in coming. It wasn't her illusion before death. Instead of feeling death approaching, she felt a slight coolness on her face. When Qin Yushang opened her confused phoenix eyes, she saw that her veil had somehow been removed by Su Jie, who was now looking at her with a smile. Suddenly, Qin Yushang, who had shown no change in expression even in the face of death, now revealed a trace of panic in her eyes. Clearly, she thought of some extremely terrible things. Was Su Jie planning to humiliate and play with her body? What do you want to do? Qin Yushang's delicate body trembled, her eyebrows furrowed, glaring at Su Jie with anger. What do you think I want to do? Su Jie stroked his chin, admiring the peerless beauty before him. Standing in front of Su Jie was a woman with skin like Ningzhi, black hair like ink, a tall and graceful figure, revealing a beautiful neckline and delicate collarbones, with a splendid form and graceful bearing. Her facial features were as if sculpted by the divine, three-dimensional and exquisite, perfectly balanced, with a beauty that could overwhelm the most beautiful of all. The sunlight fell on her pale, translucent skin due to blood loss and exhaustion, reflecting a jade-like glow, making her look like crystal. Her beauty was breathtaking. In terms of looks alone, she could rival Han Ruyan, but their temperaments were vastly different. If Han Ruyan was the noble peony that made all flowers lose color, then Qin Yushang was the proud snowy plum that grew in the snow and ice. Most shameless! Qin Yushang bit her red lips with her silver teeth, panic showing in her eyes. Guessing what this man might be thinking at this time was not hard. For a moment, Qin Yushang felt hopeless. This was even harder to accept than death itself. So you have times when you're afraid too. Su Jie couldn't help but laugh aloud seeing the drastic change in Qin Yushang's face. Don't worry, I have a wife. I'm not that thirsty. Although you have some beauty, you're far from my wife. Seeing that Qin Yushang was merely flustered, Su Jie finally stopped teasing. Qin Yushang saw that Su Jie's expression was not like he was lying, and with Su Jie's power, he had no reason to lie. In her current state, she was completely at Su Jie's mercy. Feeling a slight relief, the worst had not happened. At the same time, involuntarily, Qin Yushang found herself a bit curious about Su Jie's so-called wife, and a little unwilling to concede. After all, her beauty was praised as one of the 3 great beauties of Delhi City. The others praised alongside her were the eldest princess of the Delhi royal family and the contemporary sect master from Jyotian Palace. The former had been renowned for her beauty since childhood and blossomed into an unparalleled beauty as an adult, known as the most dazzling jewel in the crown of the Delhi dynasty. The latter had been famous for over a century, a purple mansion realm great power with eternal beauty, once the dream of countless proud sons of the cultivation world. Even after 100 years, she remained the dream lover of many. These three great beauties were said to possess appearances capable of toppling cities and countries. Qin Yushang wondered how beautiful Su Jie's so-called wife could be, or was it just Su Jie's boast? However, such random thoughts only flashed in Qin Yushang's mind. Her real concern now was Su Jie's intentions. If he wasn't going to kill her or humiliate her, what exactly did he want? With this in mind, Qin Yushang looked at Su Jie suspiciously with her phoenix eyes. Su Jie didn't resolve Qin Yushang's inner confusion but tied her onto the back of the thousand-hand centipede and took her away directly. After tidying up the battlefield, Su Jie didn't immediately return to Qingzhou but settled down directly at the Mountain Gate location of the Desire sect. Because Chongzhou is about to undergo a series of transformations, to prevent these Chongzhou demon cultivators from causing trouble, he planned to sit here for a while to ensure those Chongzhou demon cultivators behave. Due to the protection of the sect guarding Grand Formation, although the location of the Desire sect's Mountain Gate suffered considerable damage from the aftermath of the battle, most of the buildings and disciples remain. When Su Jie chose to stay here, the scene was quite lively. In Leibai offered the highest level of hospitality, arranging the best rooms, and various resources were supplied in abundance. Even the maidservants serving Su Jie's daily life were selected beauties from the Desire sect, each more charming than the last. However, because of their cultivation technique, although these female disciples of the Desire sect were extremely attractive, they carried an air of licentiousness. If ordinary male cultivators thought these beauties were a good match, they'd only end up being completely drained. The night was like water, with a faint chill in the night breeze, rustling the trees planted within the courtyard. Along with the night breeze, the aroma of meat wafted into a room. Squeak! Qin Yushang pushed open the carved jade window, her beautiful eyes gazing outside. She saw Su Jie in the yard, lounging with his legs crossed, holding the thousand-hand centipede in his lap. In front of Su Jie was a massive grill several dozen meters in size, roasting a gigantic dragon elephant, the very same Taoist platform realm dragon elephant from esoteric Buddhism. A dozen exceptional disciples from the Desire sect served as maidservants, busying themselves back and forth. A dragon elephant at the Taoist platform realm level in the outside world could easily destroy a city, unleashing infinite calamity. But now, here with Su Jie, it had been reduced to a mere delicacy. Su Jie reclined in a chair, enjoying the feeding of the maidservants, as pieces of sliced roast were brought to his mouth, needing only to open his mouth to indulge. The thousand-hand centipede in Su Jie's lap was also indulging, though it appeared quite disdainful, as the pieces of meat brought by the maidservants with chopsticks weren't enough to fill the gaps in its teeth. Gurgle! Qin Yushang's stomach grumbled softly as she looked at the perfectly roasted dish, with the dragon elephant meat rich in spiritual power filling the air with a tantalizing aroma. The golden meat, dripping with oil, was mouth-wateringly tempting. She had been through a cruel battle today, with severe injuries, her strength spent, leaving her body weak. Being a body cultivation practitioner, this type of cultivator was always particularly fond of food since eating is a part of enhancing their physique. Especially now, this roasted dragon elephant was precisely the kind of nourishment Qin Yushang needed to quickly replenish her depleted energy and blood. Come over and have some. Hearing the sound, Su Jie turned and beckoned Qin Yushang. Qin Yushang didn't stand on ceremony. She was not one to be coy. With Su Jie's strength, if he truly wanted to deal with her, there was no need to resort to poisoning. The maidservant sensibly brought a chair, and Qin Yushang sat next to Su Jie. She no longer wore a veil. Her identity had already been exposed, and wearing a veil now would be self-deception. Please, Your Honor. The maidservant presented a tray, but Qin Yushang waved her hand dismissively. No need. I'll help myself. Saying this, Qin Yushang, wielding a slicing knife in one hand, its blade gleaming sharply, and grasping a plate in the other, swiftly stacked a pile of golden roast meat half a person high on the tray in front of her. Each piece of meat was sliced with precision, perfectly uniform, indicating her remarkable knife skills. Then, with chopsticks in hand, Qin Yushang began dining elegantly. Though her actions were graceful, her eating speed was quick, with the heap of roast meat noticeably diminishing at an eye-catching pace. It was as if a furnace was inside her. Eating so much dragon elephant meat left her abdomen still flat and smooth, not the least bit bloated. As she digested the meat laden with spiritual power and nutrients, steam rose from Qin Yushang's skin, accelerating the recovery of her depleted energy and injuries. Qin Yushang's familiar behavior earned her a couple more glances from Su Jie. Watching her eat so unreservedly, he shook his head and said, "Eating so happily, aren't you afraid of me at all? Don't you know you're a prisoner now?" Qin Yushang looked up, her voice calm. "I don't know what you're plotting, but with your strength, I can't escape. So why should I deny myself? Eat and drink my fill. If I must die, better to be a stuffed ghost than a starving ghost." Impressed with her candidness, Su Jie gave her a thumbs up. "Not bad courage. I see the Heavenly Patrol Department isn't all useless." Hearing Su Jie disparage the Heavenly Patrol Department, Qin Yushang's phoenix eyes showed discontent as she instinctively retorted, "What's so poor about our Heavenly Patrol Department? Azure Dragon, Vermilion Bird, Xuanwu, and White Tiger. The 4 Hall Greats are full of masters. My master, the director, is famous worldwide as a Purple Mansion great power. Without our Heavenly Patrol Department guarding the 4 directions, the world would have long fallen into chaos, famine widespread, people living in misery. If your Heavenly Patrol Department is so formidable, then why is the Deli dynasty still in such a state of distress, plagued with disasters everywhere, with refugees scattered throughout? Every month, Qingzhou receives hundreds of thousands fleeing the famine from various places. Isn't that true?" Su Jie looked at her mockingly, counting on his fingers. After leading Ghost Ridge Palace to take over Qingzhou, replacing the righteous sect, and driving away the Heavenly Patrol Department, not to boast, but now Qingzhou is flourishing. There are no beggars nor starving refugees anywhere. I, a member of the demon sect, have done better than your Heavenly Patrol Department. So, are you saying that your Heavenly Patrol Department is just a bunch of incompetence?" Qin Yu's cheeks flushed, rendered speechless by Su Jie's words. Because she had seen the development of Qingzhou from the Luochuan River, the scenes of famine and vagrancy found in other large provinces of the Dili dynasty were absent in Qingzhou, where the people essentially solved their food problems. So even if she wanted to argue, she couldn't find a reason. Clearly, the Ghost Ridge Palace, which should have been about killing and robbing and being tyrannical, was doing a more commendable job. If the common folk were to choose a place to reside, I'm afraid all of them would choose to settle in Qingzhou. That's beyond doubt. That's because our main duty at the Heavenly Patrol Department is to slay demons and eliminate evil, deterring the world's sections. We're not responsible for governing people's livelihood. Qin Yushang remained silent for a full half-minute, reluctantly finding an excuse. Then who governs people's livelihood? The current emperor and those civil and military officials, right? You mean the real villains are in the court? Su Jie raised an eyebrow, and Qin Yushang's gaze suddenly flickered, falling silent. "I'll teach you a trick. Your Heavenly Patrol Department controls powerful martial forces. Since there are villains in the court, why not choose to clear the emperor's flank and wash away the filth within the court?" "What?" Qin Yushang was shocked by Su Jie's treacherous words. Essentially, they at the Heavenly Patrol Department were serving the Dewei royal family, let alone overturning the master's table. "You dare not do this, you dare not do that. So I say all of you at the Heavenly Patrol Department are useless wastes." Su Jie waved his hand dismissively, and the disdain in his eyes deeply hurt Qin Yushang's inner pride, causing her inexplicable anger to rise. Qin Yushang bit her silver teeth, retorting, "The Deli dynasty is large and prosperous, not as easy as you say. You've merely governed one state, Qingzhou. Managing one state doesn't mean you can apply that to the entire Dali dynasty. Situations can't be generalized. Do you know how large the population of the Dali dynasty is? It's nearly 300 million. Can you easily manage that? You simply don't understand our difficulties. 300 million? Su Jie laughed. On Blue Star, he directly and indirectly managed several times the population of the Dali dynasty, known as the Equatorial Dominator, worshipped by thousands, the people's supreme leader. The Jekka group Su Jie founded has become one of the 6 constants of Blue Star, a crucial cornerstone of world order. Every move can affect more than 8 billion people globally. Now, under the management of the Jekka group, Southeast Asia is thriving. Even a country like Chan country, previously war-torn and impoverished, has become affluent. Qin Yushang discussing state governance with Su Jie is like an elementary school student questioning a graduate's academic performance, prompting Su Jie's laughter. But it's not surprising that Qin Yushang doesn't understand. She's unaware of the highly efficient productivity and systems of modern society. 300 million already seems like a colossal number. The population of the later Qing dynasty in Blue Star also reached such a figure. In the feudal monarchy-like system of the Dali dynasty, managing this population is considered a major difficulty. What are you laughing at? Qin Yushang's phoenix eyes frowned lightly. She felt as though Su Jie was underestimating her. I take back what I said earlier. Su Jie leisurely picked up a piece of roasted meat and put it in his mouth, then laughed. Not only the Heavenly Patrol Department are wastes, the entire court, including the Emperor of Delhi, are all wastes, trash. Boom! As Su Jie finished speaking, Qin Yushang could no longer contain herself, gritting her teeth and glaring at Su Jie, furious and embarrassed. Su Jie, evil Su, do you think you're invincible in the world? What right do you have to say that? Qin Yushang, furious with rage, her energy surged like blood smoke to the sky. The earth beneath her feet trembled as if it were about to overturn. The maidservants fell to their knees in terror, overpowered by the momentum, not daring to rise. Dare not claim invincibility in the world, but at least dealing with you is no problem. Under Qin Yushang's imposing demeanor, Su Jie laughed calmly, lightly flicking a finger, duong, hitting Qin Yushang's fair forehead. In an instant, Qin Yushang flew back like a cannonball to the room she emerged from earlier, her muscles and bones trembling like plucked strings, unable to calm down, subdued by Su Jie's flick. Think carefully about my suggestion. Clearing the Emperor's flank is so useful, simple, brutal, and convenient. Su Jie stretched lazily, patting his backside, stood up and walked out. Finally, as if remembering something, Su Jie pointed to the dragon elephant. Xiao Qian, don't waste it. Anyway, the girl is too single-minded to understand. You can solve it. Roar. Xiao Qian nodded happily, then opened its mouth wide, turning into a bottomless pit, devouring the entire dragon elephant, then wrapped around Su Jie's arm, rubbing back and forth affectionately, very satisfied with this high-quality food. Damn it! Qin Yushang got up with difficulty, looking at Su Jie's departing figure, her eyes full of reluctance and helplessness. She was once again bullied by Su Jie without any ability to retaliate, not only unable to out-argue him but also physically outmatched. Grumble. Just then, Qin Yushang's stomach growled a few times. Instinctively touching her stomach, looking at the empty grill, Qin Yushang felt a bit regretful and sighed deeply. Had I known, I would have filled my stomach before confronting him.